When his partner is murdered, San Francisco private eye Sam Spade finds himself drawn into a deadly hunt for a priceless, jewel-encrusted statue. Double crosses, dames, and desperate men conspire against him as he navigates a labyrinth of lies where everyone has an angle and no one can be trusted. John Huston's The Maltese Falcon rewrote the rules of cinema in 1941, with Humphrey Bogart delivering one of the most iconic performances in movie history. This hard-boiled masterpiece practically invented film noir and launched a legend. My name is Luke, and the two fellas with me who don't mind a reasonable amount of trouble are Westy.
What do you want me to do? Learn to stutter?
And Matt.
When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
All the right movies haven't lived a good life. We've been bad. Worse than you could know. Hi everyone, welcome to All the Right Movies, a podcast on classic and hit films that dreams are made of.
Lovely.
Oh, yeah.
We're telling the story of Hollywood one film at a time, and we're dusting off our fedoras for this one. It's 1941. It's the granddaddy of film noir, Bogey, John Huston, and one very big bundle. It's The Maltese Falcon.
I'm glad it's the Maltese Falcon and not 1941.
That's coming 2 weeks' time.
Yes, it is. Gearing up for that one.
Right, well, this was my choice, so I think I'd better explain myself. Why do we want to talk about Maltese Falcon?
Something needs explaining here.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, a lot of explanations needed.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't need any excuse to talk about this film. I have been a lover of the noir genre for a long time. I think I was in love with the idea of it first, without having much to do with it, because it just sounds sexy, doesn't it?
It does. Well, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Shadows and shadowy figures, dames and damsels in distress, heroes as crooked as the villains.
Yeah.
I saw a few in the genre before I got round to this one, I think in my mid-20s,
Right.
because it just seemed so larger than life. It just seemed too much to tackle.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is larger than life. I mean, this film speaks for itself, and it's placed in history. It's been cemented for decades and decades.
Yeah, it has.
For me, I'm spellbound by Bogey's performance. There's a reason he's such a legend. And I can't believe it's John Huston's debut as well as a
Yeah,
director.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Stupid. And I absolutely love Peter Lorre as Cairo.
Yeah,
He's
so
hilarious.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's amazing. It's all compacted in this tight 100 minutes. And for around 95 of those, I'm always playing catch up with the plot. I don't know what's happening.
No.
Yeah.
Incredible performances, incredible dialogue, incredible film. Westy, what's your history with Sam Spade and the Blackbird?
It's a complicated one, and it's a complicated film. This is one that I was like, when it was on the radar, I got a student loan when I was in uni, and I was like, right, I'm getting the classics. You know, when you go in and it was like, you're going to Waterstones, and you're like, right, I'm going to buy like Pride and Prejudice, and I'm going to read it. I'm in that kind of mood. I'm going to get the classics. I'm getting Frankenstein, fuck it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm getting the classic. There was this, there was Casablanca, The Treasure of Sierra Madre, and Universal Soldier, obviously. So I got all them on DVD, of course.
Keep it real, Westy.
Exactly. And this just sat on my shelf for what must have been about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Still had the cellophane on it. And like you, look, it was just too big of a deal.
Yep.
Of like, what if I don't like it? Because it's so big. And what if I don't get it? What if I don't understand it? So it was just like on the shelf was almost like the Falcon itself is just like a status symbol, much like your bookshelf, Luke, which is unread.
Just looks good.
Dusty.
It's true. It's very true. So it had that kind of status symbol. And then I watched it and I fell asleep. And then I watched it again and I got half an hour in and I couldn't connect. I couldn't clang onto it. I just couldn't clip onto it at all. It took ages and ages of really trying because I'd read so much about it. I was just so into film at that point. I was halfway through uni studying film, wanting to know everything about it. And it was just overwhelming because I couldn't keep up with it. And it was just one of them films that it took a long time and a lot of patience. And only now, kind of recently, I would say the last 5 years, literally just getting a hold of it and going, right, I can do this now. I trust myself that I know enough about this now that I can do it. You know, it's such a deep film. It's so linear. It's so fast. It's just a ridiculous amount of confidence flying all the way through this and a ridiculous amount of masculine energy overflowing out of all of it. And all of the female characters look the same. They've all been kind of made up the same with the same outfits on. And I'm like, who's who? What's what? She's got 3 fucking names. Who's this guy over here? What's going on over there? So I was like, right, we're just getting it. We've locked it down. I've got me notes. We're going to make perfect sense of the Maltese Falcon for anyone who is confused. I think this is a one-stop shop. Let's get into it. Let's iron out all these creases and let's get this done.
Yeah, let's make no promises though, Westy. Yeah.
Well, it is for me. It's as clear as it can be for
Locked
me
off.
up to now.
Love it.
This might confuse things. I don't know.
Okay, Matt, do you like to talk or are you a closed-mouthed man?
I'm always a close mouth man. You know me.
Yes, I do.
Get yourself into trouble otherwise. No, this one, I mean, I'm always happy to go further and further back with these episodes. And you come back to this film and you go, is this where all this started? Fast talking private detectives and trilbies, murderous women pretending to be victims and they're not. And it's not, because obviously there's an adaptation in the 30s. There's others before this that have some of these elements. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But this is the one that finesses all those elements and into a finished product, unlike anything else that had been seen up to that point. But I think the best thing about this is it doesn't feel like it's a history lesson. It's not a film you watch that's kind of behind glass. It's got a pace to it that's very contemporary. It's got an edge to it that's very contemporary. And then you add in those performances of Bogart and Greenstreet and Laurier, and you've got something that is just instantly iconic and something we really just need to cover and try to explain somehow.
Yeah, try to. Keyword.
Try. Yeah.
Yeah.
Written and directed by John Huston and based on the 1930 novel of the same name by Dashiell Hammett. The Maltese Falcon was produced by Henry Blank and Hal B. Wallace for Warner Brothers and released in New York on the 3rd of October 1941. Shot exclusively at Burbank Studios in LA, it stars Humphrey Bogart as Sam Spade, Mary Astor as Bridget O'Shaughnessy, Sidney Greenstreet as Caspar Gutman, with Peter Lorre, Alicia Cook Jr., Gladys George and Lee Patrick in supporting roles. We're headed to the city by the bay for the opening scene of the Maltese Falcon.
Let's go.
The beginning.
The opening of the film gives us a backstory to the fabled Blackbird of the title, and then we're catapulted to modern times and the office of Private Detective Sam Spade and Miles Archer. Matt, you're starting us off.
I mean, it doesn't mess about, does it? I mean, this, like, take a breath, here we go. You know, it doesn't take its time to get you there. You're straight in. This is Sam's world. This is where he fits in, and he fits in so easily. He's just lord and master of everything here. Just rolling that cigarette, so unflappable whenever he says the woman waiting for him is a knockout. She's so excited by it. But he's just so casual. Show her in, every darling. Show her in. That's all he does. Doesn't get overexcited. No particular emotion about this huge story that she starts to lay out in front of him. And it's just this huge cynical streak that he has, which will rear its head throughout the film. When she says Thursby has a wife and 3 children in England. They usually do. They're not always in England. Great dialogue. So straight away, you know where you are with Sam. But that cool that he has, that is in complete contrast to Miles. I mean, he's like a dog in heat.
He's like he sees a dog, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is, you know, his eyes like bulging out of his head, like pulling faces behind her, leaning over the desk towards her, straight in there, telling her he'll look after this case himself. You don't have to look for me. I'll see you all right. You just say, all right, calm down. Like, don't make it that obvious.
Play it cool.
Yeah. So I think everything this film is, and really everything this genre is, really the tone, the setup of the narrative, it's all in here.
It's amazing. I mean, it's just like opening scene, intrigue, mystery, double cross, immediately. The backdrop, that's a matte painting of the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, it's seamless. It looks like it was shot on location.
It does, yeah.
Yeah,
it really does.
it has that vibe to it, yeah.
It does.
Yeah, so just going back to the beginning for a moment, the opening crawl about the Knights Templars was entirely fictional. It was included late in the day at the insistence of studio head Jack Warner. He wanted a historical narrative to start things off to make the plot less confusing.
That's ridiculous. I think it makes it even
It
more.
makes it more confusing.
Yeah.
Because you've got one
Knights
eye on
Templar?
Malta and Charles
What?
V of Spain. What?
Yeah. When's Charles V going to turn up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very confusing. But, I mean, an incredible opening scene in that Archer comes across hot and heavy, like you were saying, Matt, laying it on real thick about Wonderly. And I think it's one of the most shocking rug pulls that I've ever seen because it happens so fast. Not 3 minutes after his introduction, Miles Archer is out of the picture.
Boom. Straight out of
Bumped
there.
off. Plugged in the gut by an unknown assailant.
Yeah.
That frame is just dark enough to hide the fact that it was probably shot in a garden lot in Burbank somewhere.
Definitely. Just rolls down the hill.
Yeah, it's a
Like
good
the nice
tumble.
guys.
And it just throws everything into turmoil immediately, not least because at this point I'm thinking, was that the fella from the last scene? Was that Sam Spade's partner? I'm not too sure.
Oh, yeah, you had 45 seconds to get a good look, and then that's it, he's dead.
In black and white as well.
Yeah. And a wide lens from the back of the room.
In a move which would become a hallmark of the genre, almost every scene features the protagonist, Sam Spade. The only scene where he doesn't feature is this one where Miles gets shot. And the studio insisted this scene was included for clarity, but Huston thought that it didn't work aesthetically.
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of like a visual representation of what the film is ultimately about. We don't know who killed Miles until the very end. And I think, like from the studio's point of view, we need to see that. We need to have that in our head as we go through the film.
Yeah. I love how we're 5 minutes in the film and the studio's notes are already, this is too confusing. Can you just make it clear? We're only 5 minutes in. Yeah.
Opening credits, that's too confusing.
Yeah.
But Sam couldn't be more laid back when he gets the news over the telephone. Miles Archer dead. Where? That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing in the way of emotion. Has he got anything to hide here? Of course he bloody does. But then he calls up Effie, his secretary, to give her the news. Now don't get excited. He asks her to break the news to Ivor, Archer's wife, and instructs her, keep her away from me. Great dialogue.
Yeah.
Things are just much more complicated than we first thought, and this is, 6 minutes in?
Yeah.
Before that, though, I mean, from that sequence, I just love the way that's shot, the way it holds off the character and just holds on the phone and on the window.
Great.
And that hadn't been done before. It was kind of like, well, you're just hearing the dialogue. It's not on him. Like, what's going on? And I think that just really adds to the mystery of the film.
It does, definitely.
And further into the mystery, I mean, Sam then turns up in a taxi to a crime scene. And then goes straight to the cop. The cop's like, I didn't know who you were there for a second. Yeah, go straight through with Sam Spade. So you know he's got a little bit of punch. And this scene, we're introduced to Ward Bond, who's absolutely amazing in everything. I mean, we know as Bert in It's a Wonderful Life, and Captain Reverend Samuel Johnson Dane in The Searchers. Absolutely wonderful in that
brilliant.
well. But he's great in this. I love how it's just straight to the point. The use of depth in these frames is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean, the 1:37 ratio, which is kind of like a 4:3, so it's pretty just on square as it used to be then. But there's so much going on in that, where it's just Sam in the foreground, that broken fence, Miles dead, and then a little bit of rubble, and then a full cityscape in the background. It just shows this real level of kind of
depth.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of widescreen, but just turning it the other way and pushing it back in the frame. So it's really exciting to watch that type of thing. But then the dialogue comes in, and it's just 100 miles an hour. It's just
really
what's going on. So Webley Fosby, 45 automatic, 8 shots. Don't make them anymore. How many do you get out of it? What? What are you talking about? And there's so much going on here. I mean, he sussed it out just by kicking the fence. He goes, he was standing here and he shot him there and he fell over there. Yeah, when his coat was buttoned and he didn't have his gun out of his holster. And it's not until the last 7 minutes of the film that this dialogue comes back and you go, oh, yeah. And that's why. And it's in his head all the time. He's just this human computer. He's just a lie detector. He's just the perfect detective and doesn't let anyone get close to him. I think he's the loneliest man in the history of cinema. And this whole sequence just really shows that, because it hits home when it's just obvious he doesn't like Miles. He never did. He must have some good in him. He's like, yeah, he must have. And then just walks away. And he's like, don't grab me, Tom.
Don't grab me, Tom.
He's just talking to him like, calm down, Sam. He's just this kind of boiling pot of just aggression and needs to get everything solved, even when there's nothing that he necessarily wants to solve. So another great introduction to the character, and a great introduction, I think, to the environment that we're going to be in, the darkness, the mystery, and it just rolls from here.
It certainly does, yes. And as we're at this point in the film, right at the start, I think it's fitting that we break and have our first question from an ATRM patron.
Right, yeah, nice.
Okie doke.
And that's one of the benefits of signing up to be an ATRM patron. You can ask us questions for the film that we're talking about. Our first one comes from Michael Smith. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
He says, hi, guys. I'm ashamed to say that I didn't watch this until you announced it on your pod, but it is magnificent. It certainly is that, Michael.
Yeah, fair enough.
He said in the Maltese Falcon, Miles Archer is bumped off so early we barely have time to check his ID. While his death is the engine of the plot, it makes him one of the most thankless characters in noir. This got me thinking about the Archer effect. He's coined a new term here, which is wonderful.
Okay, boots, Michael.
He says, which movie character was killed off far too early, leaving you wanting to see more of them? Are there any other films where the sacrificial lamb was actually more interesting than the survivors? He says Drew Barrymore in Scream comes to mind for him immediately.
Yes, that's a good one.
Good shout.
That is a good one.
That is a good one, yes.
Yeah.
Matt, have you any other good ones?
I've got two. I think Blake in 1917, the
Right.
soldier who
Oh,
sets
yeah.
off with George Mackay because it's his brother who they're trying to get in contact with. So you think, oh,
Yeah.
well, he's going to survive because he's going to meet up with his brother. But he doesn't. He gets killed pretty early in a really shocking manner as well. You don't see
Yeah.
that coming. And then the other one, funnily enough, we're going to be talking about this film pretty soon. Julianne Moore in Children of Men. You think, well, that's Julianne
Right.
Moore. She's obviously going to be
Great.
huge in this film. When she gets wiped out in that, you do not see that coming whatsoever.
Not at all. Excellent. Yeah. What about you, Westy? Any good ones?
4.
Of course. Double it up. Yeah.
Double it up. Yeah. It's good. How many you got? 6. I would have come back with 12. I think the character of Luke, played by Ryan Gosling in A Place Beyond the Pines, I think I
Oh,
lost
that is a
interest.
surprise, yes.
I lost a little bit of interest once he was out of there, to be honest.
Yes.
It was,
Yeah, I
I
know
know
what
it's
you mean.
really necessary for the narrative, but I just think I need to see more of him. He's just so good in everything. Let's be
Conventional,
honest.
that, isn't it?
Yeah. Drexel Spivey in True Romance.
Oh, yes.
He dies far too early. I could see
Yeah.
him. Him in that final scene. That would have been amazing.
That would
Just
be
coming
incredible.
Talking about coming over the body
Carnage.
bag, and then Drexel loving that film would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Marion Crane, played by Janet Leigh in Psycho.
Of course.
Huge, but it's obviously needs to be done. But again, I thought she was wonderful, and I always get a kick in the gut when Llewellyn Moss dies in No Country for Old Men.
Right at the end,
Yeah, but I think we need to see more of that. I wasn't
Yeah,
expecting
yeah.
it
it gets wiped out a lot sooner than we think.
a lot sooner than I was hoping he would, to be honest. So yeah, that one always sits with me as well. Even though it's the end of the film, it doesn't feel like he's managed to progress any further.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
great. For me, the one that sprung to mind first off was John Hurt in Alien.
Yeah,
Because I guess at the time, everybody might have assumed that he would have been like the hero or at least made it somewhere near the end.
well, you would
Yeah,
expect
probably.
to live longer than Tom Skerritt at the point.
Yes. But he becomes something much more shocking and obviously one of the most iconic scenes in movie history. So,
Yeah.
it's not all bad.
Definitely not.
I'm going to throw a curveball in there. Steven Seagal in Executive Decision.
Wow.
Right.
Is that when he just jumps out the stealth bomber and disappears?
Yeah. That's the guy. I'm not advocating for Seagal because by all accounts he's a terrible person, but I was a fan in the early 90s and him
Yeah.
teaming up with Kurt Russell in this. I thought, oh, all my Christmases have come at once.
Yeah.
So imagine my surprise when he gets wiped out in the first act.
Yeah.
I've rewatched that film recently. It's pretty sweet.
Stand up, does it?
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Now you mention it, that reminds me of Michael Biehn and The Rock. It's exactly the same.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. That's a good shout.
Great. And considering our latest double feature episode on Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and The Nice Guys, I've got to mention Margaret Qualley in The Nice Guys.
Yes.
She is the Maltese Falcon of that film.
Yes.
All we hear is Amelia, Amelia, Amelia. She's only glimpsed her a few times before she joins the narrative for real, and then she gets bumped off not long after.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Good one.
So, I mean, if you want to hear more about that, double feature,
Sign up.
Patreon.
Yeah.
You
It's
know what to
available
do.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a great question. Thank you very much for it, Michael.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank you,
Michael.
Michael.
So, murder and intrigue in the opening 10 minutes of The Maltese Falcon. The tone is set for the rest of the film, for certain. After the terrible fate of his partner, Sam Spade finds out, to his surprise, that Miss Wonderly is checked out of her hotel. He heads back to his place where he gets a visit from the police. Over to you, Matt.
I mean, there's just such an ease with Sam as a character, isn't there? He doesn't let ego get in the way because two cops arriving at his place to question him. He could be so aggressive here, make it a big macho thing, but he doesn't. He's too smart to do that.
Yes.
Because he also knows he has them over a barrel when they're asking about, does he have any guns? Turn it up upside down. I won't squawk if you've got a search warrant. Like, he knows where he has them and he knows how to play them. Remaining calm in front of all of like Dundee's provocations and questions, and he just comes back with, "What's your boyfriend getting at, Tom?" And I think, like, for 1941, that's really near the knuckle in terms of insulting a man. Really gets under his skin, but so funny. And the reason he's remaining calm is because the more in control he stays, the more silent he remains, the more they are going to talk instead about what they want from him, which in turn tells them what they know and what they think. It's like Westy says, his mind is just always whirring and putting pieces together and storing information. It's just this constant super smart strategy he has of playing people along to find out what they think. And it's very funny when they're talking about Thursby being dead and Sam says, "How'd I kill him? I forget." So he's taking the piss out of them at the same time because he knows they've got nothing on him. They think they're in control, but Sam just sends them on the way with no aggression and a couple of drinks down them instead. And they just leave that scene going, we were supposed to be in charge of that.
Yeah, we've just
What
been
happened?
done. Great. Get your paws off me.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sorry, I got on my hind legs, boys.
That's great.
Great. So after that, we're in the office and we've got meeting with Ivor and then later on with Effie as well. So we'll see how he is with both of these female characters, which is wonderful.
Darling, sweetheart, all of that.
Yeah, angel, darling, sweetheart. I mean, it's a little bit, I mean, you've got to kind of take it with a pinch of salt. I mean, I know it's 1941, but it's very, very condescending, a lot of it. You know, it's straight in there, kissing her straight away. Husband's just died. You're like, who is this guy? What a bastard. What a piece of work. And then just straight in there. Did you kill him, Sam? Oh, hold on a second. And then he's like, you killed my husband, Sam. Be kind to me.
I love that.
Laughing in her face.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely preposterous. His whole persona is just ridiculous. And then he knows that he's kind of offended her a little bit. And he's like, I'll be there as soon as I can. Goodbye, Eva. And then ushers her out. She's gone. So you think, right, well, there's something else going on here. We'll move across. There's Miles' empty desk, right? There's a little bit, 30 seconds, maybe 5 seconds of remorse. Not even 30. That was too far, wasn't it?
Yeah, too
5
much.
seconds of remorse. And then Effie comes through and she just cuts through all of the bullshit.
Oh.
She just like starts like saying, Ivor did it. She made us wait. She got changed really quickly and that top of it was still warm. And like, he's like, you're a detective, but she didn't do it. It's like, oh, you kind of know she's never going to be good enough to be of his standard because she's a woman, basically. She's never going to be intelligent enough. It's like, know your place. You're a detective, sweetheart, but you're not that good. You're not Sam Spade. Do you know what I mean? Which I think is absolutely brilliant. But then you've got that phone call. He's got somewhere else to go, something else to do. And he's just decided at that moment, get rid of Miles' desk, take his name off the window, take his name off the door, just put Sam Spade up there. All right, sweetheart, all right, angel, everything's going to be fine. And then he just burns the note, which is excellent, that push-in. But it's just the way the camera just explores the room, like in every scene. And there's so much going on here. This would be like the end of a massive Act 1. Oh, he was cheating with his partner's wife and... Effie's on there and she's intelligent.
Some boy, isn't he?
And all of a sudden it's just bang. That's about 10% of what's important in this film. Move on. Straight out of there. Right, next scene. Burn that. See you later.
See you later. Come on, move on.
Yeah.
Print it.
Yeah. Be kind to me, Sam. Slow down a second.
You killed my husband, Sam. Be kind to me.
Be kind to me.
Laughing in her face.
Just that laugh, just that clap where he's like... how dare you try and win me over with some kind of emotional blackmail. Never gonna work.
It's magnificent. I think like the prop work in this film is amazing. Obviously the Maltese Falcon itself, it's become a thing of legend, but the desk lighter that he uses all the time.
That's class. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. It's called a Ronson touch tip lighter and it's got a built-in clock. They were commonplace obviously back in the day, so they needed to have something as common as a clock on. It would have set you back about $16 back in the day. It's absolutely incredible stuff.
Yeah, great.
So after getting the phone call, Sam goes over to Miss LeBlanc's apartment, and with all different names flying around, Wundley, Thursby, Archer, I don't even know who it is that he's going to see here.
Neither do I.
But it turns out to be the woman who set this whole thing in motion, Bridget O'Shaughnessy, formerly Miss Wunderly. She's playing the innocent, but Sam just isn't having any of it. No. And he was on her tail all along. We didn't exactly believe your story, Miss O'Shaughnessy. We believed your $200, though.
Yeah.
As an audience, we're completely behind everyone here. We just catch up all the way.
Yeah.
And Bridget's continuing the little girl lost act, asking Sam to protect her from the police and the assistant district attorney. Unbelievable, considering she just won't let on anything about this whole affair. They've just met, and she's lied from the get-go.
Yeah.
But she's laying it on so thick. And, watching it, I'm convinced it's a good performance, but Sam isn't. He says you won't need much of anyone's help. You're good, chiefly your eyes, and that throb you get in your voice when you say things like, be generous, Mr. Spade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so much sarcasm, so much cynicism.
Yeah, cynicism's a word.
Yeah.
But I do really love the story that Bridget spins about Thursby. She tells the tale of this man who carried guns like there's no tomorrow, who never went to bed without covering the floor with newspapers.
Yeah.
So evocative.
Yeah.
It really paints a picture. When she's asked if it was Thursby or her enemies that killed Miles, is laid on a bit too thick.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I can't say. But Bogey's response is brilliant. He snaps up. This is hopeless.
Yeah.
And then he's able to shake her down for all of the money that she has on her. $500. She'll have to hock her furs and jewelry to live on. Absolutely uncompromising behavior.
Give it me.
So things aren't getting any clearer as Sam starts his investigation. Ivor is playing the grieving widow and Bridget is slippery as an eel. but things are about to get even more complicated.
God.
Yes, they are.
The cheaper the crook, the gaudier the patter. Never a truer statement made about All the Right Movies. And if you like our gaudy patter, you'll no doubt love to become a patron of All the Right Movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. What you're listening to is our flagship podcast, a brand new episode of which comes out every 2 weeks. Huge deep dives into the biggest films, and the most recent 20 episodes are available on all platforms. The rest, over 100 episodes, are in our podcast archive.
There's bound to be a load of films that you like in there. We covered all the classics, and you can listen to everything in there by signing up to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Also on YouTube and Patreon, you can listen to 2 brand new podcasts that we create every month. That's The Watch List, where we review new release movies, and Double Feature, where we talk about films that we wouldn't necessarily get to on this show just yet.
Mm-hmm. Not just yet.
Yep, not just yet.
There are hundreds of episodes, and by gad, sir, you are a character if you listen to them all.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
By God, sir.
On Patreon, you can also vote for the films that we talk about, ask us questions for the show. That's patreon.com/all the right movies. If you do like us and you can support us, don't play the sap and sign up for movie podcasts more sought after than a glorious golden falcon, encrusted from head to feet with the finest jewels.
Indeed.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, guys.
The director.
A Hollywood screenwriter making his directorial debut unbelievably. John Huston's first outing for ATRM. Matt, your thoughts on him as director of the Maltese Falcon?
Houston, we do not have a problem. Not with this one.
Very good. We do have a problem. Slow down.
Yeah, calm it down.
I mean, it's not bad for a debut, is it, really? You know,
Pretty good.
the definitive private eye film at the first attempt. I think what he brings to it, though, is such a sharpness and a pace. I mean, at least 95% of this film is driven by the dialogue, like we've been saying. Very little action to speak of in here, but it does feel like you're watching an action film at times with how fast it moves. I mean, characters are constantly bursting through doors or they're leaving rooms urgently to do something because they've got a fresh clue or there's a fresh revelation of what's going on and they've got to follow it up somewhere else. And as well as that, I think he does challenge the audience and then some to keep up with them. And like, until you get to that final scene, he does not slow this film down to explain anything at all. He wants to put you in Sam's shoes and say, can you make the connections in the way that he can? Try. That's all he cares about. And that's a brave thing to do. And when you get to the end, which obviously we'll talk about, like your head is just spinning from the sheer amount of information and conversations that's been laid out. And he's only going to explain it right at the end. And it's a strange way to describe it, maybe, considering how kind of stagey it is in a sense. Everything's interior. But it is quite an exhilarating experience watching this because you're trying to keep up with it. And it's Huston who's setting the pace.
The thing that strikes me most about Huston's work here is just how assured it is. It's his directorial debut.
Yeah.
And it feels like he's been in the chair for years. There's no tentativeness, no hedging his bets. If anything, he makes it difficult for himself considering the material. This isn't like a cutesy, easy romance.
No.
This has got real style and flair, but always in service of the material. He knows exactly what he wants. And what makes that even more impressive is that he's not just making a great film. He's essentially inventing a brand new genre of movies that will be revered for decades to come.
Yeah.
Everything we associate with film noir crystallizes in the Maltese Falcon. Obviously, there are elements of it in previous films, but never like this. The cynical detective, the femme fatale, the morally ambiguous world where everybody's got an angle, sharp dialogue delivered in shadow-drenched rooms. It's all here. It all starts here and then goes from here.
Yeah.
There were crime films before this, of course, but Huston established the template that everything else would follow. When you watch a noir film made in the decades after this, you're watching filmmakers respond to what Huston did in 1941.
Yeah.
And he does it with such economy as well. There's no fat on this film. It's 100 minutes and it moves like a train. He trusts Hammer's dialogue, he trusts his cast, and he gets out of the way. I think he gives them room to breathe. And that restraint and that understanding that the material is strong enough to carry itself, I think that's a mark of a director who probably would have about 20 films under his belt at that point.
Yeah.
He had it straight away. The most assured directorial debut, maybe. Incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Westy, what about you?
There's just no doubt. There's no element of doubt
there's
in
not.
any frame of this film, in any delivery of any character, of any line, of any plot point, of anything. There's no doubt. Like the camera, even if it's just a dialogue sequence, needs to push in or pull back or move around. And what I get from Huston is that he's just an actor's director. He's a writer who's actually putting the words and the narrative into visuals. And to me, I'm always going to say that this is hand in hand with Arthur Edison, who is a cinematographer on this. I think he's just as important as Huston, because Huston is just 100% on the content. If this was nowadays, Huston would be shooting this on a fucking iPhone with his best mates just to get it made, just to do it quickly. He doesn't care where the camera is. And a lot of it takes me out technically, because he crosses the line loads of times. You know, the camera's going one way, it's going another way. You don't quite know what's happening. It's very disjointed. It's very technically, it's quite sloppy in places, but it's revolutionary in others because he just doesn't care. He cares about what the actors are putting across. He cares about the story. He is so confident in this script, in this adaptation of this book. He doesn't really care if you don't like it, and I really love that. I've said that about a lot of directors and a lot of films, and that's, to me, what makes a director really, really special, is that it feels like he's making this for himself. The skeleton of this film is really, really exciting. So to have a little bit of fat on it with the visuals as well makes it just puts it to another level. And Huston knew that, and Edison knew that, and Bogart knew that. Everybody knew it who was involved in this. That's why they all became lifelong friends after it. They all just clamped together and went on this roller coaster, and that absolutely delivered, especially Huston.
Incredible stuff. The film is based on the 1930 Dashiell Hammett novel of the same name. More on that later. Warner's quickly bought the rights to the novel and produced a movie version in 1931. Roy Del Ruth's The Maltese Falcon was released pre-Hays Code and featured a few risque scenes, including a strip search of Miss Wonderly and some gay subtext involving Gutman, Cairo and Wilma.
Yes.
Because of these, at the time, controversial elements, the film was pulled and not screened in its entirety until the 60s.
Right, yeah.
And this wasn't the only adaptation of the material. 1936's Satan Met a Lady was adapted from Hammett's work and starred Betty Davis, but it was more of a comedy than a hard-boiled thriller, and reviews were not kind. Bosley Crowther of the New York Times called it a cynical farce of elaborate and sustained cheapness.
Wow.
Yes, I haven't seen all of it, seen bits of it. Compared to this, no good.
No, right.
Obviously. Yeah. John Huston was the son of Oscar-winning actor Walter Huston. He had made his play in Hollywood as a screenwriter and was Oscar-nominated for Dr. Ehrlich's Magic Bullet in 1940 and Sergeant York in 1941. He was contracted at Warner's and wanted to break into directing.
Yes.
Break into directing, smash the window and dive in. Come on in, John.
Yeah, Warner's agreed to give him his shot, but only if his next screenplay was a hit. The film in question was High Sierra, directed by Raoul Walsh, also starring Bogey.
Yep.
Yes.
It earned $1.5 million at the box office, and so the door was open for Huston to make his directorial debut.
Yeah.
Allegedly, Howard Hawks suggested that Huston redo The Maltese Falcon, but recommended that he film the book, as he put it. Huston loved the source material and disliked the previous two cinematic adaptations beforehand. Before he went on holiday, he asked his secretary to type the novel up into screenplay format, and this version was then sent to studio head Jack Warner by accident, but he loved it and greenlit the film before Huston had even had a chance to read it.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, Huston just said, turn that into a screenplay, just basically reprint it in screenplay format, and then that's exactly what she did.
Fair enough.
Wow. Did she get writing credit for that?
Nope.
Amazing. Ouch. You did a good job there, Angel. Get fucked. Before production started, Warner's put in some stipulations. Huston had only 6 weeks to shoot the film with a strict $400,000 budget. If this wasn't adhered to, Huston would be looking for a job elsewhere. I think that might explain the pace a little bit, only 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, very quick.
Yeah.
And despite the novel being called, obviously, The Maltese Falcon, Warner's wanted to change the title to A Gent from Frisco to distance itself from the other two films that they previously produced.
Okay, yeah, I get that argument, but
Huston
title.
persuaded them otherwise. The Gent from Frisco is ridiculous.
Yeah. Wait, who's the gent?
Yeah.
There's nobody on display.
gentleman in this film.
Yeah. And during filming, it was agreed by most involved that they were making something quite special, and as such, they tried to deter unwanted visitors from the set. Randomly, a group of priests were brought on set by Warner's publicists. Don't know why. But were ushered off when Mary Astor declared, "Hold it a minute, I've got a goddamn run in my stocking."
Wow.
That old devil, Mary Astor.
Yeah, that old chestnut. Yeah.
This descended into a highly rehearsed set of practical jokes, orchestrated by Huston, designed to shock the tourists and get everybody off set.
Yeah.
The set pieces were numbered. For example, the number 5 involved Bogey shouting at Greenstreet, calling him a fat old fool for trying to upstage him during his scenes, at which point Huston would jump in, restraining Bogey from socking Sydney right in the mush.
Nice. all the way to the number 10, saw Peter Lorre coming out of Mary Astor's dressing room, zipping up his fly and shouting, "See you later, Mary!"
How wonderful.
Brilliant, that. I'd love to have seen him do that.
That's great. But Huston wasn't just about jolly japes on set. He was the consummate professional. Knowing that this was his big chance and the restrictions placed on him by Warners, he left nothing to chance and prepared each scene to within an inch of its life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because producer Henry Blank gave Huston what he called the single greatest piece of advice he would ever receive as a director, which is shoot each scene as if it was the most important scene in the film.
Yeah.
He's certainly done that.
Yeah, you get that feeling. Yeah.
And he shot the film sequentially, largely. He said, "It's best to shoot chronologically. In this way, you can benefit by accident and you don't paint yourself into corners."
Yeah. Detailed storyboards were drawn up for every scene, and every stitch of dialogue we hear was in the shooting script, as were specific instructions for each shot set up. As such, production finished 2 days ahead of schedule and under budget.
Consummate professional.
Brilliant.
Huston did have a tussle with the censors over a few different areas. Any references to sex were required to be cut, as was the consumption of alcohol that was deemed excessive. He fought back hard on this one because he wanted to remain faithful to the novel, which depicted Sam Spade as a renowned boozer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how Huston was able to get away with that scene at Gutman's place when he's putting back the brown stuff like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, that's great as well. Some
Massive
great dialogue
pause.
in there.
Yeah.
I
Great.
don't like people who say when. That's great.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is generally regarded as the first film noir, as we've been saying, starting the genre. Some people do argue the case for 1940's Stranger on the Third Floor, which also starred Peter Lorre, and some say that's the original film noir. And others also put up They Drive By Night, also 1940, starring George Rafton, Bogey himself, and say that's the first one.
Yes. As we've been saying, the Maltese Falcon distilled all the hallmarks into noir and into one perfect 100 minutes.
Yeah.
So groundbreaking doesn't even come into it when we talk about John Huston and the Maltese Falcon, one of the great touchstones in cinematic history.
No, I don't think it's groundbreaking. I think he invented new ground.
Yes, he did, yeah.
The cast.
A great cast on the Maltese Falcon, each provide nuance and intrigue to proceedings. And we're starting off with the main man, the big cheese, the head honcho. As fast on the draw as he is in the drawing room, according to the trailer, Matt. Humphrey Bogart, Sam Spade.
Just the absolute man, isn't he? I mean,
is.
You talk about cinematic cool in Bogart in most things, but especially this, he's going to be so far up that list, if not topping it. And all due respect to him, you wouldn't think necessarily, looking at him, this guy is going to be a huge movie star. He's got that kind of raspy voice. You know, he's got a scar on his lip from his youth. He's got a very kind of weather-beaten look to him. We're not talking about the dash and good looks of Clark Gable or the instant likability of James Stewart, but he's just got such a compelling screen presence, which works so well for the character. And the brilliant thing is, he makes you think Sam is in complete control of this situation from beginning to end, when often he's not. Like so many scenes, he is racing to keep up with what lies Bridget is telling him and trying to work out, is that bullshit or is that one the truth for once? He's trying to work out what Gutman is telling him. Who's this guy who's tailing him? What's his business? Why is he after me? But he's so unflustered by all of it. Or if he is, he keeps it hidden below the surface because he has to in this profession.
Yeah.
So he's got presence, he's got incredible line delivery. I think his performance sets the pace that Huston wants this film to go at. It's brilliant when he's being hauled in for questioning by the DA and he just has that huge rant at him. And then without taking a breath, he just turns to the stenographer. You getting this all right, son? Am I going too fast for you? Just brilliant. And
perfect.
It's not getting it all right. It's like, good work.
Yeah. Yeah, good work, kid. And then he's just straight back in it. And he's just got this wonderful streak of cynicism towards anything when he says to Bridget, I'll have some rotten nights after send you over, but that'll pass. Like, all these months you think he's such a bastard. But Bogart just makes him so likable and so compelling. And obviously he'd made films before this, lots of them, but this is the one where you see him come to life as the star and the icon he was going to be.
Yeah. The thing about this performance is that he's just so silently right. Like he never says anything until he knows for 100% that he's right. So he never takes a chance on anything. He always just shuts the fuck up until he knows exactly. He's got all the facts in his head. Then he lets it go. Yeah, brilliant.
I think it's just the perfect performance. A revelation. If there's anybody put off by kind of like all black and white movies thinking they might be stuffy, Bogey puts paid to that from the get-go. His
it's
cadence,
definitely not stuffy.
his delivery.
Yeah.
This is like movie star and top actor all in one with countless shades of grey. He's just mesmerising on screen.
The control that Warner's had on production extended to casting. They insisted that George Raft was the man to take the role of Sam Spade. He'd made a name for himself in Scarface in 1932 and starred in countless movies in the 30s.
Yeah, Raft had it in his contract, though, that he could decline a role if it wasn't worthy of his name.
Right.
In a memo sent to Jack Warner, he said, "I must remind you again, you promised me that you would not require me to perform in anything but important pictures."
Didn't he turn down every film that Bogart was then in?
Allegedly, he turned down Casablanca, yeah.
Casablanca was all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, it was understood that he didn't want to work with a rookie director, so he passed on Falcon.
Fair enough.
And Edward G. Robinson of Little Caesar fame was briefly considered, but then Bogart, who was actually on suspension from Warner's at the time because he'd refused to star in the Western Bad Men of Missouri, he was given a reprieve after the success of High Sierra, which he did star in.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. This was music to Huston's ears because he had always wanted Bogey in the lead, despite the novel's description of Sam Spade being a man who looks rather pleasantly like a blonde Satan.
Great description.
Yeah.
Bogey had been a jobbing actor of stage and screen since the early 20s. His star began to shine brighter when he appeared on Broadway in crime tale The Petrified Forest and its 1936 movie adaptation. Supporting roles in the likes of Dead End, The Angels with Dirty Faces, The Oklahoma Kid, and The Roaring Twenties dominated the late 30s before his starring role in High Sierra brought him a much greater exposure.
Yes.
And he was famously dismissive of the Hollywood system, but he did love working on this film. He later said it was practically a masterpiece. I don't have many things I'm proud of, but that's one.
Brilliant.
Nice.
And the cast became so tight-knit that they would often be found with Huston at the Lakeside Country Club for drinks and wisecracks, no doubt.
Oh, nice.
Lovely.
Bogey considered Laurie and Huston very close friends, allegedly because they weren't boring and could drink like a fish.
And that's why they weren't boring.
Yeah,
It goes hand in
exactly.
hand, that, doesn't it?
Yeah. And this was the beginning of one of the great screen collaborations. Huston would go on to direct Bogey on 6 films, not including High Sierra, which Huston wrote.
So, yes, 6 directed films.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sometimes gets lost when we talk about star and director.
We do. Yeah.
Yeah.
These two definitely should be up there.
So as we're talking about the big man, we've got our second Patreon question, and this one is from Dominic Bramley. Hi, Dominic.
Hi, Dominic.
Hello, Dominic.
Dominic says, being 1941, there's obviously plenty of smoking going on, but boy, Humph sure makes it look cool. He certainly does.
Yeah.
Dominic also says, thinking I might start again. Ooh,
Well, I mean, don't do that.
don't do that.
No, don't advocate that.
So his question is, who are the coolest smokers on film? We hope you've resisted the temptation, Dominic, but certainly feel that pain. I'm sure, Westy, you feel the same.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, Bogey, gold standard. Smoking is just part of the package with him. You want Bogart, you get smoking as natural as that hat.
Yeah, I mean, rolling a cigarette is his thought process, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
As he's thinking about something, it's part of it.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I've got De Niro in Goodfellas.
Lovely.
The scene at the bar when he's deciding whether to whack Maury out or not.
Yeah.
Cigarette in hand, sunshine your love.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. Great.
Mentioned it before, but Mitchum in one of the great smoking movies, classic noir, Out of the Past.
Oh, the past. Yeah. Amazing.
Mentioned that before. It's an amazing film, and it's just billows of smoke coming out of every scene.
Yeah, I've mentioned that before. Yeah. That was close for you starting again, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. That's why I haven't watched it for years.
Let's leave that one. Yeah.
I'll throw in Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Like on every piece of promotional art for the film, she's smoking, but she makes it look so cool at Jack Rabbit Slims.
Yes.
And keeping in the noir genre, Elliot Gould in Altman's The Long Goodbye. I think he lights up in pretty much every scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Altman honouring the genre, but gently poking fun at it as well, I think.
Yeah. Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Brilliant. Yeah.
The reason I started back in the day. Gibson and Lethal Weapon was another reason.
Brilliant.
I've got De Niro, and also I'll go for Casino if you've pulled good for Goodfellas, because I think it's brilliant smoking. Just walking around them casino floors, just cigarette in hand is absolutely fantastic. And Mickey Rourke in Sin City.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
It's a lot to do with the cinematography as well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, when it's backlit, it just looks 10 times cooler.
It's incredible, yeah. Matt, over to you.
I mean, if you're talking Bogart, you've got to then talk about Lauren Bacall, haven't you? His famous on-screen and life partner, particularly To Have and Have Not. She's lighting up constantly in that. Really looks cool. I think Scarlett Johansson in Match Point, the Woody Allen film.
Okay.
She's very much the kind of femme fatale in that. And then also Jean-Paul Belmondo in Breathless. Just that Gallic cool permanently.
Very good.
Got a cigarette dangling from his lips.
Yeah. Brilliant. Throw Dan Aykroyd in that Biltmore hotel scene in Ghostbusters as well.
That's a great angle. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Bankman!
Pinkman. It might be a morally questionable subject, but some great examples there.
Yeah.
And on the subject of smoking, anybody with eyes would notice it in this film. Obviously a sign of the times, but it did result in an argument between Jack Warner and John Huston. Warner asked him to tone down the smoking because he didn't want to encourage cinemagoers to nip outside for a sneaky cigarette mid-film.
Yeah, Bogey and Laurie caught wind of this and recruited Astor and Greenstreet to smoke as much as possible during the film. Brilliant. When Warner saw the rushes of the final scene with all 4 actors smoking like chimneys, he hit the roof. He even threatened Huston with the sack if the cast didn't knock it off. Bogey and Laurie held back from then on. Amazing.
That's amazing, isn't it?
But I mean, it's the final scene and he shot it chronologically. What else are they going to do?
No, right at the end.
Yeah, fuck you, Jack.
So, Bogart, a true screen legend and probably his most revered role. I'd say one of the great movie performances.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Next, it's Mary Astor, who takes on a number of pseudonyms in the film. A movie star since the silent era. Our thoughts on her as Bridget O'Shaughnessy / Miss Wonderly / Miss LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Yes.
What makes Astor so perfect for this role for me is that she doesn't look like a femme fatale or what you would think a femme fatale might look like. She's prim, she's proper, she's got these big doe eyes and this air of vulnerability about her. When she walks into Spade's office spinning a story about needing help, you're completely bought into that act. She looks like she needs to be saved.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what makes her so dangerous. You want to believe her, even when every instinct should be telling you otherwise, because she just flat out says that she's a liar at certain points.
Yeah. She plays the damsel in distress really well.
Very well.
Yeah.
The brilliance of that performance is, I think, in the transitions. She can jump from sweet and innocent to cold and calculating on a dime. One moment she's trembling and pleading for Spade's help, and then next there's this flicker behind her eyes that tell you everything that she just said is a lie.
Yeah.
It's all performance within performance. Bridget is constantly acting, constantly adjusting her mask depending on who she's talking to and what she needs from them. Mary Astor lays that on really well. You're never quite sure which version of Bridget is real, if any of them are. Now, there are moments where I think her performance tips slightly into melodrama, that quivering lip, the breathlessness, desperation, but I actually think that's intentional. I think that's Bridget trying to play the innocent and not quite pulling it off.
Yeah.
She's laying it on a bit thick because she's not as good a liar as maybe she thinks she is. Spade sees through it. So do we. Probably a bit too late, 95th minute, 97th minute, something like that.
Yeah. As the elevator door shuts.
Yeah. She's being taken away in handcuffs.
All right, yeah.
It's a performance of a performance, and those moments of overreach are part of what makes that character work for me. I think she walks a fine line here, and she does it brilliantly. She's got to be sympathetic enough that we understand why Spade might be tempted by her, might fall in love with her, but duplicitous enough that we're not surprised when the truth comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great performance. I think it's an underrated performance.
It is. For the part of Bridget O'Shaughnessy, Warner's turned to Geraldine Fitzgerald. She was new on the scene and had turned heads in Wuthering Heights and Dark Victory, both from 1939, but she declined because production would have interrupted plans she had to travel to the East Coast.
Well, nothing could get in the way of that.
Priorities in the 40s. Yeah. East Coast.
Not the English East Coast.
Obviously not. No.
There are also claims that she didn't want anything to do with a novice director and a B-movie actor. So Rita Hayworth, Olivia de Havilland and Ingrid Bergman were all considered before Mary Astor showed a bit of interest. Allegedly, her lower salary was also attractive to Warner's execs.
Yeah, I imagine Bergman was wanting more.
Yeah, too much ego would have been attached and they wouldn't have been able to play it as well as this.
I agree.
You've got to play it a bit stupid, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, those three names, they're too big.
Too big.
And Astor was no stranger to controversy. She'd been involved in a number of scandals over the years, some of which became tabloid news when her diary, which detailed her adulterous behaviour, was leaked to the press.
Yes, she'd battled addiction of drink and drugs for years. Her first husband died in a plane crash, and her numerous affairs also extended to becoming involved with John Huston, allegedly, during production of the film as well.
Yeah. Huston and Bogey paid Astor a visit. She was charmed by the pair and she liked the script, which she called a humdinger. Absolutely correct. In her memoir, she said of the part, Bridget was attractive, charming, appealingly feminine, and helpless, and a complete liar and murderess.
Brilliant.
Correct.
Covered all your bases.
She also described Bridget as a bitch's cauldron. Which is great. Before each scene, Astor made herself hyperventilate to give her a sense of disorientation. She said, for there wasn't a single scene in the picture where I wasn't even close to what I was thinking. That's like proper method stuff before Lee Strasberg or Brando or anything like that. Before Seven.
Yeah.
Miles before, yeah.
And Astor actually won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar that year, but it was for her part in The Great Lie opposite Betty Davis. But she later wrote in her memoirs she would have preferred the Oscar for her part in The Maltese Falcon instead.
Wow, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, held it in a lot of high regard.
Yeah.
So Mary Astor, justly iconic in a role that would become synonymous with the noir genre, the classic femme fatale.
Yeah.
Finally, a shady character known as the Fat Man or simply Mr. G, it's Sidney Greenstreet as Caspar Gutman. Over to you, Westy.
I mean, what a performance this is.
Yeah.
If he wasn't 300 pounds, he would have ran away with the film. He turns up at the perfect moment because you're kind of just getting a little bit sick of Sam being on top of everybody, sussing everybody out, chopping guns away left, right, and centre, karate chopping people in the face, get out, he's slapping people around. Yeah. And I watched this, like I say, it was a late one for me, but it was like, this is where Auric Goldfinger came from. He's like a classic Bond buddy. Yeah, all of them are. And here he is, like the actual man involved in everything, the guy who's orchestrating this whole plot. And he's just greedy and brilliantly shot because he looks massive, doesn't he? The way where that camera's placed, he's so gluttonous in his performance, but also on the screen, just fills the screen with this horrible kind of sweaty need for this Falcon for no other reason than he just wants it. Yeah. Phil, he's done with food now. He's had all of the food in the world. And now he just wants the Falcon because he's just got that kind of personality. And when he shows up, he's like bang halfway into the film. He just shows up perfect and he's fantastic. He's just camp enough to take seriously. Yes, he is. But also you can see how he's got his hooks in these people and how he can manipulate people and how he can spin these characters around. And I mean, when it gets to the end of the film, he finds out it's a fake and he just does, there's a wide shot on him and he just does all of this. Like, is he going to pass out? Yeah. Is he hyperventilating? What's going on? And then he just snaps out of it. And then he's like, right, well, one more year. This is where we're going. Yeah. It's just great how he's never, ever put down. It's a great character. It's great writing. But it's just such a great performance from Sidney Greenstreet. I mean, he's so good. I kind of want him to get away with it. I watched it again, and I want it to be like he scratched it a bit more, and it's real, and he sees it's real, and then Sam Spade comes out at the bottom, and he snatches it off him, and he's like, I finally got one over on Sam Spade, and then disappears with the Maltese Falcon. Like, I just kind of want him to win a little bit because he does get away with it, and it's fine.
He does, yeah.
Caspar Gutman, what a great name!
Oh, brilliant!
That's brilliantly done. And if you hear like Gutman's in town, Gutman's here, and then you see him, and you go, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. It's just so well written, so well played, so well directed. Absolutely fantastic. For me, if this guy's not in the film, we don't have a film.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. He's such a presence and not just his size. Yeah.
He matches it. He matches his size just in his aura.
Yeah, in his aura. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Not an influence on the 2005 Elijah Wood football hooligan film Greenstreet, I don't think.
Unfortunately. Sadly not. It's a common misconception.
It is a common misconception. I thought I would just put that one to bed.
Great. Thanks for myth busting there, Westy.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for, kids.
And this is actually Sidney Greenstreet's movie debut on Falcon, despite over 30 years' experience on the stage. And he made 25 movies in total, all in the 1940s, before passing away in 1954.
Wow. Incredible. Debut at 51 years old as well.
Yeah.
Huston had seen him on the stage at the Bitmore Theatre in LA in a play called There Shall Be No Night and thought he was perfect for the part. Absolutely correct. Warner's allowed the casting after struggling to find an actor large enough. Imagine. He brings a lot more than that. I love that, though. He brings a lot more than that.
Oh, he does. It's not just his size.
Definitely not.
Yeah. There are conflicting reports of his considerable size, ranging from £285 to £357.
Right. I put 300 because, Bogey does say in the film he must be £300.
Yeah, of course.
So it's right in the middle.
Yeah. He went on to become Warner's go-to larger actor, which is why he was in 25 films in the 40s.
Great.
Yeah.
Because of his size, production had to make certain accommodations, shall we say. Greenstreet's wardrobe had to be specifically made from scratch, as did the chair he sits in his first couple of scenes.
Right.
Standard chairs weren't wide enough or sturdy enough to take his weight.
Right.
Conversely, Bogey provided his own costumes for the roles because he thought the costume options were cheap.
Nice. Love that.
Great.
In Huston later said of Greenstreet, he was perfect from the word go, the fat man inside out. But Greenstreet was actually terribly nervous because it was his debut. And Mary Astor said that before his first scene, he said to her, "Mary dear, hold my hand. Tell me I won't make an ass of myself."
Amazing.
It certainly didn't.
No, definitely
not at all.
not.
I mean, this fact is outrageous. The bombs dropped by the US on Nagasaki and Hiroshima in 1945 during World War II were called Fat Man and Little Boy. The Nagasaki Fat Man bomb was named after Greenstreet in the Maltese Falcon.
Wow.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
What a
I'm not
claim
too
to
sure if
fame.
that's a compliment or
I
not.
don't think it is. No.
So an outstanding cast adding so much colour to a black and white film. And special mention should also go to Gladys George, Lee Patrick, and of course Peter Lorre,
Yes.
who we'll be talking about very, very soon.
It's amazing.
Yes, we will.
All Right Movies will be right back. Thank you for supporting us by listening to the sponsors for this episode. Thank you for listening to our sponsors, and now it's back to the show.
The middle.
Sam's up to his neck in vice, and the plot is about to thicken as he gets paid a visit from a rather cosmopolitan gentleman.
Here we go.
Over
Yeah,
to you,
lovely.
Matt.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hitting this Laurie performance, but when Joel Cairo turns up, I mean...
I was going to say, Matt is a very cosmopolitan gentleman.
Well, of course I am. That's well known.
That's what I meant, of course.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
I also smell of gardenias.
I don't doubt it.
But he's so creepy, and it's like he's got this permanent like sheen of sweat on him, like
Yes.
he's permanently sweating, and there's something just a bit slimy about him. But what's interesting though is obviously because this is 1941, there's certain things that are off limits that the film can't see outright, and we've kind of alluded to it in the previous version. So the fact that his card smells of flowers, gardenias, that business where he's fondling and like practically like licking his cane.
Yes.
Like it's outrageous, really, but that's the film's way of hinting at Cairo's homosexuality.
Yes.
And, you know, through modern eyes, it is quite uncomfortable. It's kind of equating that with Cairo not being trustworthy or making him creepy at the same time. I think that's
Yes.
one way you could go.
That hasn't aged.
It hasn't aged well. That's just the era we're dealing with, and it's unfortunate. But what saves it is just how good Peter Lorre is here. I mean, the voice, the presence he has, the eyes, he's just great. And it's just another example of the film saying, are you still keeping up? Because here comes a massive twist that we've given you no indication about whatsoever.
Yeah.
See, because this is when he starts talking about the statuette and he holds some up and you're like, hang on.
What?
I was just about on top of this. It was about Thursby's murder. What on earth is going on now? I mean, it spins you for complete loop, but even at gunpoint, Sam is still in control. I mean, that low angle shot where he's looming over Cairo. So he's obviously going to get out of this. And I just love how he gives him 2 shots to the chin and then he just holds onto him by the tie and just pushes him across the room with that leer in his face, like, I'm really enjoying this. Like, who do you think you are coming into my office to hold me up? And then he just gives like one last slug to knock him out. Yeah, just a great introduction to Cairo. What a scene.
It is. The introduction's in the score as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That little undertone of like about the character. Yeah, it's really cleverly
Yeah,
done.
it is. Yeah. The way he winds up that third shot before he clumps him on the chin. Absolute glee in his face. I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
And Peter Lorre was a Hungarian native and made a name for himself starring in Fritz Lang's Stonewall classic M from 1931 and in Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much from 1934. He played a child murderer in the former and a child kidnapper in the latter, and he's really creepy in both.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
M in particular.
He's quite creepy in this, to be honest.
He is, he is.
And his star had begun to fade in the movie business, but this film put him back on the map. And it was the first of 9 films he starred in with Sidney Greenstreet and 5 films with Bogey.
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. They're all in Casablanca, aren't they?
That's right. Yeah.
Get the gang back together.
Yeah, going back together, yeah.
It's fantastic. So from there, obviously, Sam's on a bit of a journey and we're following him very quickly. And we're at Bridget's and he's talking about the Blackbird. He needs to know more about it. He's playing his way with her as well. And we don't quite know if he's sincere or not. But this is a wonderful scene. This is just cat and mouse.
Oh, it
where
really
they're
is.
just back and forth with each other. Like, who's the best liar here? Who's the best manipulator? And they're both slowly falling in love with each other, I think. And that you kind of get that from the scene. It's great. It's really, it is quite romantic in that sense. When she's like, you won't get in any trouble, will you? He's like, I don't mind a reasonable amount of trouble. Brilliant. A real man's man there.
Yeah.
you know, he mentions one or two things. She then starts to feel a little bit flustered by what's going on. Sam knows a little bit too much. She's stoking the fire. She gets a cigarette. She's perched on the side of the chair. And then he just laughs at her. He laughs at her performance. And he's just like, you're not just going to walk around the room and stoke the fire again, are you? So, you know, I can see straight through. He's like, you're good. You're very, very good. Yeah, really good. And that line's like totally lifted into Raiders when he's talking about Bonestall, but it's like he was good. Very good. He was very, very good. Yeah. It's just completely lifted off that. This is like Indian Marion to me. There's just so much lifted from this film where you get that back and forth. It's so well done. He talks about money and she's like, well, how else am I going to buy you? How else can I, you know, win you over, basically? And then he's just bang straight in there with a kiss and then loses his temper
right on the kisser. Amazing.
It's right on the kisser, and then he goes, that's it, I've revealed a little bit too much of myself now. I was honest there. And he kind of kicks himself and goes around the room and goes, look, if this is going to happen, if I'm going to be part of this, if we're going to be in a relationship, if I'm going to trust you, you need to tell us more. It needs to be put onto the table. I need to have more confidence in you. Very sincere in this scene, I think. He's like, look, I'll help you. I want to help you. You've pulled us in. I'm now attracted to you. We know what's going on, but it's his Sam Spade-ness that's fighting against his actual sexual urges as a man. You know, it's like, I'm really attracted to this woman, but there's something wrong and his brain won't let his heart win. And I think that's a really wonderful way it's played out in the performance. I mean, imagine Sam Spade speed dating. It would just be ridiculous. He would sit down, kiss them in the face, punch them in the face, throw them over a balcony, and then shout, clap his hands, laugh, and be like, I need more confidence in who you are. And that would just be it. We're not going to progress any further apart from that, but it's a great scene. They're both having a great time. We're having a great time watching it. But again, you're thinking, we're moving forward at a pace and we still don't know who to trust.
No clue whatsoever.
Yeah. No.
And now we're back at Sam's place with Bridget to confront Cairo. It's all set up. Cairo shows up saying there's a boy outside who's putting him completely on edge. Westy, this scene reminiscent of a scene from Highlander for you?
Absolutely, yeah. You're going to turn off the tape recorder or I'll shoot us with a 45.
Brilliant, yeah. I'm not being tongue-in-cheek here. I mean, this is lifted directly for that scene in Highlander where there's the cop outside when he goes to Brenda's apartment.
Yeah.
And it looks just the same. And in this scene, there's a beautiful dynamic at play here when they get down to business, discussing the whys and the wherefores of the deal. Cairo offers the money. Bridget's offering up the Falcon, but neither of them have either in their possession. And overseeing all of this is Sam finding great amusement in this little charade. Like you said earlier, Westy, he keeps quiet and lets it all play out.
Yeah, and he's just got his own shot as well, isn't he? He's just shot in a wanna as he's listening.
Upshot, giving him absolute dominance.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And better than that, that shot of him leaning forward when he hears the fat man mentioned for the first time. Yeah, that's right. Breathtaking.
I'm into this conversation now.
That's like Brando in Apocalypse Now, coming into the light.
Yeah, great.
Peter Lorre here, in this whole film, like we've been saying, he's so
fantastic.
Politely sinister, apologising for why it would take a week to get the Falcon. All the while, his like wide-eyed stare suggests all manner of evil thoughts below the surface.
I can get the money at like 10:30 in the morning.
And then the scene erupts. Bridget suggests some nefarious goings on in Istanbul. Before Cairo can respond, she socks him right in the kisser.
Right in the kisser, yeah.
And then he gets his gun out in retaliation. He's going to kill her.
Spades in there. All he does throughout the whole film is just takes guns off people. Just takes them off them. Hates guns, just takes them off.
Chops the gun out. Judo chop. Chops the gun out of his hand. And he delivers my absolute favourite piece of dialogue in the film. The one, Matt, your quote at the start, when you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
Yeah. Amazing. The three.
Three of the best. Outrageous behaviour. But before it all descends into chaos, there's a knock at the door. Who could it be?
Matt? Is it you?
Is it me?
That would make more fucking sense at this point.
So all the major players are together, but things are spinning out of control. Maybe the knock at the door might give some answers.
Maybe.
It's the police at the door. No answers, just a lot of fool questions before they make their way into the apartment. First off, Tom and Dundee at the door trying to strong-arm Sam into a confession that they're never going to get. Again, great dialogue. If you say, there's nothing between you and Archer's wife, you're a liar, and I'm telling you so. Is that the hot tip we brought you here in this ungodly hour at night? Brilliant.
And he's still got his tie on, right made up,
yeah.
like shirts on, ungodly hour. Surely just relax a little bit, Sam.
But as the police agree to leave, there's an unearthly scream of help from inside the apartment. I guess we're going in. I guess you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, great that. Yeah.
And inside we see a bloodied Cairo accusing Bridget of hitting him. She had to because he tried to attack her. Cairo's response is great. You dirty, filthy liar. But I think here we can kind of assume that Cairo is maybe telling the truth. He says to Dundee that he came here in good faith and they both attacked him. Well, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, she could definitely have him, like.
Yeah.
Definitely. She doesn't care for his side of the story at all.
No,
Bridget stands up and kicks him.
It's so funny. It's really funny, that bit.
Fantastic. Sam smooth talks the coppers out of his place. He says, wake up, Dundee, you're being kidded. Brilliant. Yeah. And they leave, but not before Dundee socks him right in the face. Mm-hmm. I think he's had it coming, considering his smart mouth, to be honest.
Yeah.
They leave, and Cairo follows suit, which leaves Sam to get more information from Bridget about the black bird that everybody's so steamed up about. Bridget spins some cock and bull story about being offered £500 to help Cairo get away from the man who had it. Thursby and Bridget double-cross Cairo, and that's how it's in her possession. Who knows?
If you say so.
Who knows?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Here's what's really tantalising and subversive about this. Bridget takes great pleasure about being accused of lying in this passage. Mm-hmm. She admits there wasn't much truth in her story, but it's really incredibly done by Astor that we don't know if she's lying about being a liar.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So we're no further. In fact, we're going backwards here.
We are going backwards, yeah.
It's an incredible stretch.
So from there, as far as we know, I mean, Cairo just leaves. I love his exit from that. It's like, it's getting on a bit. Bye.
Yeah. See ya.
See ya. Straight out of there. Love it. So we've got Sam going to Cairo, going to the Belvedere. Love that. Right. Okay. We've got a new location. And this location, I mean, we're talking about space and the frame and depth and the vlogging here, all the extras. It's so well done, the way the camera just comes through and you know exactly where you are. And we're following Sam. And he goes to the desk and then he sees Wilma just sitting there with that paper. And there's that, he sits down and that two shot's just fantastic with them both in focus and that drop off in the background. And it's just about them two. And Sam is having a whale of a time with Wilma. He is completely out of his depth talking to him. Shove off. That's all he's got.
Shove off.
Shove off. And it's like, no, well, he's just playing him and tell the fat man and he knows what's going on and that's absolutely fine. Then he kind of motions over to Luke, who's obviously the security guard in the hotel, comes over, it's bad news about Miles and whatever else, and he's like, you only can let these gunmen in here with the piece sticking through. Oh, Jesus, he knows everything about everybody. He's so on the ball. But I mean, this is so like really understated bravado, the machismo on Sam here when he just lights that cigarette. He's been rolling it, waiting for this moment. He's just right, I'm rolling this because I know for a fact I'm going to blow the smoke right in this.
Right in his face. What a dick move.
He might as well have just pissed on him. It's just such a like a masculine, I'll be watching you. Yeah, fuck off. Bang. Beautifully done. And we've got rid of Wilma. He's out of there. So then Cairo's there. So he goes over and starts taunting him. And then Sam's spinning it the other way. And Cairo's been in with the cops all night. They've been grilling him. Right, well, you know, I had to throw in with her. What else was I supposed to do? I'm on your side, really.
Yes.
Come on, let's figure it out. What we're doing. What did they do? What did they talk about? And he's like, right, well, I span your story, and it was that. And he's like, the story was terrible. I had a horrible time reciting it. Can you come up with a better story? And Sam's like, don't worry about the story's goofiness. I mean, Sam's playing chess here, not checkers. He's completely moving everybody.
In checkers.
Yeah, exactly. He's moving everybody where he wants them to be. And he's just setting up the next stage and the next level. And he knows Cairo's the person who's going to get him to the next level. So he's now playing him on his side. He's in it for himself. He's absolutely desperate to know what this is all about. And he just stop at nothing to get to the middle of this whole mystery.
It's unbelievable. Takes on so many twists and turns.
It does, just in these two scenes.
Yeah. Elisha Cook Jr. plays Wilma Cook here, his surname's sake. Despite his baby-face appearance, he was 39 years old when filming this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unreal. He'd been in movies since the early 30s, and in between pictures, he lived a solitary existence up in the High Sierra Hills of Northern California, and he received his movie offers via courier.
Right.
Lived off the grid.
2 years younger than Bogey in this.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
wow.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the performance, but this is now when we finally meet Gutman and Green Street. I mean, and As we've been saying, this performance is something else. For such a big guy, he just glides through his scenes like he isn't carrying any weight at all. And it's a bit like the Cairo introduction, that decision to shoot him from below quite a lot of the time. So he fills the screen when he sat down. It just adds to his tremendous. He's like Jabba the Hutt at times when he's in that chair. Just
that camera's just at his knees, isn't it?
Yeah. It's so
Swallows that frame.
Yeah. It's just looming over everyone. And it must be one of the first examples of a bad guy is more sinister the calmer he is, because he doesn't dole out any threats at all to Sam. If anything, it's compliments. I distrust a man that says if he's got to be careful not to drink too much, it's because he's not to be trusted when he does. He really gives all his dialogue this beautiful musicality. It constantly puts you on the back foot because, like I say, he's full of compliments. He's really charming, but there's something about him, you can't trust because everything that Sam comes out with, Gutman just treats it like a game. That's wonderful, sir. Wonderful. By God, you are a character. Like everything's for his amusement. And you can't figure, well, what does he want? He surely just can't want to be amused. And I think this is two wonderful touches here. I think the fact that Sam changes the amount that Cairo offered him from 5,000 to 10,000 purely to see what Gutman's reaction is. And the fact he's very scornful about it tells you actually it's worth much, much more than anyone is letting on. It's such a clever little detail that you could easily miss. Yeah. And the second one is this is the only time you really see Sam ruffled by his situation and getting angry at Gutman for not revealing what he knows. So he gives him the ultimatum, get back to me by this time, or deals off, storms back to the lift, but then you see his hand is trembling and you realise he's maybe not quite as calm and in control as he makes out to be. He was genuinely fearful of this guy.
That parting shot when he leaves, think it over, you've got till 5 o'clock, and either you're in or out, for keeps. I love it.
Yeah.
As was not always the case at the time, Huston worked with art director Robert M. Hass to build the sets with ceilings, which happens again in Citizen Kane, which came out the same year, as I've said. This allowed him to shoot his signature upshot of his characters and make it feel like a real location.
Huston loves that shot as well.
He does, you need to see the ceiling.
Yes.
And it adds to the claustrophobia as well. If there's all this
totally
mystery bouncing around, it's got no way to escape.
Yeah, exactly.
And in 1978, Huston said, there was a time there after Orson Welles, and I'm partly to blame because of the Maltese Falcon, when everything was shot looking upward at the character.
Yeah, great. It's a proper film movement. It's a real change.
Yeah, it is.
Art director Robert M. Hass, like you said there, Westy, he created the sparsely decorated claustrophobic sets, which became a hallmark of the noir genre. The addition of the ceiling added to the sense of authenticity in the locations. But he also worked as art director on the 1931 version of the Maltese Falcon as well.
Right. Okay.
Great. So Sam has got a violent temper, but he's playing Gutman for a fool. Will he fall for it?
Or is he?
Or is he?
Or is Gutman playing Sam for a fool? Or...
The crew.
A great crew on the Maltese Falcon included a seasoned writer, composer and cinematographer. We're starting with the screenplay written by John Huston himself and his secretary.
Yes.
Westy, your thoughts on the writing?
It's beat for beat for the book, and I think that makes perfect sense because the dialogue is so well researched. I think all of it has this real air of realism, of authenticity, and he brings that to it and doesn't shy away from that and doesn't try to think about the audience at all. He's locked into this story. Everybody understands it on the set, and that's good enough for Huston. I think he's just very, very confident with this source material. Like we've said, even just the scenes that we've spoken to up to now, the lies are exhausting. But he knows he's going to have a final scene where it's all spilled out. And if you don't get it from their monologues at the final scene, that's your problem. That's your fault. You haven't kept up. What he does really well is subverting a lot of expectations for the audience in that we're not clear on who's a hero and who's a villain. Everyone's mixed. All the characters are mixed. And that's really good. We haven't got anyone necessarily to follow, so you're just on a ride. He's invented that linear narrative where he just pulls you along and you're just there for the ride, and it totally works. It's a film that's essentially motivated by greed and distrust and negativity. And it's not a happy ending. There's nothing positive in this film. Nothing is really uplifting. It's not. It's a Wonderful Life.
No, it's
definitely not.
But it's very, very popular because I think this was the mood of the time. You know, it's the same year as Pearl Harbor happened. It's the same year as this real confusion in America, especially that kind of social commentary that he's got on this, and that nobody could trust anybody. And there was this real narcissism and skepticism about what was actually going on with government and everything else that was surrounding that. And I think this was a real gut punch and a really edgy screenplay. way and really edgy
Very
subject
much.
material. And Huston takes it, runs with it, and doesn't shy away from any single aspect of it. It's amazing writing because the novel's amazing.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
going to be
right, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, if you've got a really strong source material and if you love it and you get it and you believe in it, you've got yourself a winner.
Yeah, he was under a winner straight away.
Yeah.
Matt, your thoughts on the writing?
I mean, where to start? I mean,
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not clever
Yeah.
enough. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of pivotal information that is delivered early on in precisely one line that is never revisited, and you've got to remember it and put the pieces together yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it takes a good bit of working out to realize why Cairo thinks Sam has the Falcon in the first place at the office.
Yeah.
You know, it treats you like an adult, this, right? And it doesn't
Exactly.
condescend to you whatsoever. And the thing is, even if you're struggling to keep up, though, there's still so much to enjoy in the writing.
Yeah.
As we've been saying, there's loads of zingers and memorable dialogue. I mean, Westy's quote at the start when Cairo says to Sam, "You always have a very smooth explanation ready. What do you want me to do? Learn to stutter?" Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Sam later on, "Don't be too sure I'm as crooked as I'm supposed to be." Again, it's in the delivery, but it's just beautiful, right? And it's just got that feeling that every film in this genre has since taken, where the dialogue is rat-a-tat-tat-tat fast. And if a line of dialogue in this film isn't moving the plot along or revealing more about the characters, it's giving you a really good laugh at something instead. It doesn't get the credit for being as funny as it is because of the tone. It's darkly funny, but it's a pretty hilarious film, really,
It is
in the
hilarious.
dialogue. It's really funny. So I think the lesson is, don't get too hung up if you're not following the smaller details of the plot, because it can still take you on a great ride anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, the writing's so refreshing here for me. Like you, man, that dialogue just sings. There's more wit and invention here than 99% of films released in the last 10 years for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just the words, it's the plotting, the twist and narrative. Huston's not pandering to the audience. And let's face it, an audience which was likely less savvy about movie conventions than they are today.
Yes.
No,
Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of like McDonough territory, Tarantino territory.
Yeah, it
And
is.
that kind
Yeah,
of
very much.
Fearless. Absolutely fearless. Yeah.
It really is. The lies are being told from the first scene till the last from all characters.
It's exhausting, man.
It really is exhausting.
Yeah.
And just when we think we know what's happened, something is thrown in yet again to knock us off balance and question our judgment. We've been played for a sap all the way through, unlike Sam.
Yeah.
And Huston, like you were saying, Westy, Huston doesn't stick around to allow you to catch up. If you're lost off, well, that's your fault. That's not his.
Tough. Yeah.
Yeah, hard cheese. And to make it even more difficult, there are countless pseudonyms. We've talked about it: LeBlanc, Wonderly, the Fat Man, Mr. G. Then we've got Miles Archer, who's referred to by both names, and Thursby, who we never see.
No. Yeah.
And just when we think we're on the level, this is the plot. Who killed Miles? Who killed Thursby? In comes Cairo with talk of the Blackbird to throw everything into chaos. Again, considering all of that, Huston's got it completely under control. He keeps the strings loose before tightening it up right at the end.
Yeah.
I think it's writing for an adult audience, who Huston always keeps at least one step behind every character on screen, and even those characters don't know what's happening.
No.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
And that just serves to throw you completely off guard, questioning everyone and everything. I mean, it's impeccable writing for an 85-year-old script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
As mentioned, Dashiell Hammett wrote the source material before the Maltese Falcon published as a novel. It was first serialized in crime fiction magazine Black Mass.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about authenticity as well, and Hammett was a detective at the Pinkerton National Detective Agency for 7 years before being a writer, and based the main characters from the book on his experiences.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Cairo's real-world parallel was a forger. Gutman was a detective of sorts who was forever in pursuit of long-lost treasure. And O'Shaughnessy was made up of a couple of people, including one woman who came to Pinkerton to hire someone to fire her housekeeper.
Wow.
Great. Spade wasn't based on anybody in particular, though. Hammett said, "Here's what most of the private detectives I work with would have liked to have been. A hard, shifty fellow, able to take care of himself in any situation."
Yeah. Like Fleming writing Bond, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Samuel was Hammett's first name as well. Samuel
Right.
Dashiell Hammett.
Right. If I was Hammett, I would have said, yeah, it's based on me. That's exactly what
Yeah, got my name and everything.
Of course it is. The film is remarkably faithful to the book. Most of the dialogue is lifted directly from the page. Naturally, there are a few elements that were omitted. Characters like Gutman's daughter and Spade's attorney didn't make the screen. And there was a Sam Spade monologue that didn't get included at all.
Yeah, that involved Spade telling O'Shaughnessy about a fella named Flickcraft who nearly died in a freak accident. He leaves his wife and his children and is found about 5 years later in a similar city in the same state with a similar job and family. I guess it reflects human nature. You are what you are. Gutman, Cairo, O'Shaughnessy and Spade, I suppose, will always be true to their natures.
Yes, exactly. Okay. We don't need another name in there.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Just
Definitely
leave it.
not.
We don't even meet yet. No.
yeah, exactly.
Does he have the Falcon Flickcraft?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, possibly.
A version of it.
Yeah. Not the fake. He's got the real one.
Yeah.
What?
As we've been saying so far, particularly with Cairo, there was a desire to remove all the gay subtext, but it has been noticed there were still hints towards the characters of Cairo, like we've been saying, but also Wilma and Gutman being gay. Spade continually calls Wilma Gunsel, which is also lifted from the book, and that's got nothing to do with his abilities with the firearm. It's a Yiddish word, which translates as little goose, but its meaning changed over time and it became a gay slur.
Right.
That slipped past the censors, unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
As the film is stuffed with dialogue, Warners were worried that this would slow the pace of the film down and requested that Bogey talk faster. Amazing.
Yeah.
Huston instructed his whole cast to do the same, leading to what Matt was saying, the rat-a-tat style delivery, which became synonymous with the noir genre.
Yeah.
And Dan Aykroyd, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Dragnet. It's basically just Humphrey Bogart, isn't it?
Yeah, that's referred to in that scene. You mentioned it, Matt, the DA's office, when Bogey lays down this incredible monologue, thick with dialogue and detail, machine gun fast and impeccably delivered. He turns to the sonographer and says, "Are you getting this all right, son, or am I going too fast for you?"
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
The dialogue in that scene is beautiful as well. He says, "My guess might be excellent or it might be crummy, but Mrs. Spade didn't raise any children dippy enough to make guesses in front of the district attorney, the assistant district attorney, and the sonographer."
Yeah, which is basically Mama didn't raise no fool, but with a lot more dialogue.
Imagine if you're an actor, though, and the note you're giving us, say that really fast. No.
Really fast. I struggle to say it, and I have loads of pauses in there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Despite the reports of his secretary writing that first draft, Huston was solely responsible for the rewrites. He had a modest explanation for how to adapt a novel. He said, "You simply take apart 2 copies of the book, paste the pages, and cross out what you don't like." Simple as that.
Nice.
Yep, some easy peasy. Yeah, no probs.
It's what Peter Jackson did with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly the
same
same,
thing.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Couldn't paste.
Easy done, back to back to back.
Yeah.
And Hammett did approve of Huston's version of the Maltese Falcon. In a letter to his daughter 2 weeks after the film's release, he wrote, "Have you seen the Maltese Falcon yet? They made a pretty good picture of it for a change."
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
So with incredibly strong source material to work with, John Huston provided the film noir blueprint of rat-a-tat-tat dialogue and twisted narrative.
Yes, he certainly did.
Providing a backdrop to complement the mystery is composer Adolf Deutsch. Now, at this time, that name is unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I was going to say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's the first thing I've got written down. 1941. Who did the music?
Adolf Deutsch.
Adolf Deutsch.
Where's he from?
I think Deutsch's score, I think it shows a lot of restraint. He doesn't overpower the film, as was often the case at the time. The music used to fill in the gaps and do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And I think Deutsch knows when to step in and when to let the dialogue and the performances breathe. For a film that is essentially people talking in rooms, double-crossing each other,
Yeah.
I think the music walks a tightrope. Too much and it becomes overbearing, and too little and it's kind of empty spaces within the rooms.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he gets the balance right. I really love his work in that second scene between Spade and Gutman. There's the usual dramatic blow of music when Wilma kicks Spade in the head when he passes out.
Yeah.
But then it all becomes apparent when Cairo comes in from the other room that they're all working together. And Gutman, who was coming across kind of like a bit of an old fool in search of this long-lost treasure, now looks incredibly sinister as he's accompanied by this low rumble in the score, almost like an army march into battle. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
That music really enhances the visuals and the menace of the scene.
Yeah.
And that's what a great score should do for me. Obviously, it should elevate what's already there without announcing itself. Deutsch isn't trying to tell you how to feel every second. He's just punctuating key moments, underlining the danger, and then pulling back to let the actors do their stuff. Of course, it's very much of its time, But I do mean that in a positive way. The noir scores that followed or debt to what Deutsch established here. Moody atmosphere and like Huston's direction, always in service of the story rather than being at odds or competing with it.
Yeah.
I think it's great work.
I think it's really interesting because there's more of it in the film than you might expect, but it's beneath the surface. And we have covered a few films from this era recently, 12 Angry Men, It's a Wonderful Life. And when we talked about the music there, I think we're all saying, well, there's the occasional flourish here and there to accentuate the emotion of the scene. But I don't think that's the case here. It's more like mood music. It's not really creating something you can really hum or memorable in that sense, but it creates this mood of tension that it needs. And as we're saying, it's a very talky film. So I think the music underneath the dialogue, it gives it a little bit of a lift and it kind of peps the action up a bit, I think. So it might not be packed full of tunes, but if you took the music away, so many of those scenes of talk, they would just feel like dead air that have nothing to them.
Yeah.
It would be like watching a film stage play instead of something cinematic. So out of everything to praise in this film, which is pretty much everything, I think the music might be the most underrated quality that it has.
Yeah, good points.
Yeah, I think it really leads the way, especially for the genre. To me, like Matt said there, it's kind of like a theatre play or watching a theatre play. To me, all the music seems like it opens and closes most scenes.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Like the curtains opening and then closing. It has that real vibe to it where you can move to the next part. It's like punctuation, I guess. The way that he uses it really well. But I do think he's following orders from Huston. I think Huston has a lot to do with how that works. I mean, you know who else was following orders? Dick Adolf. But,
Hitler.
I mean, it's very dark in places, very suspenseful. It does set the tone, especially for the genre, and it's sprinkled in beautifully where it is needed. But sometimes it does kind of engulf what's happening. I mean, when Miles is shot, it's whoa,
I know what you
it's
mean.
like boom. But then the scene straight after that, when Sam receives the phone call about Miles being shot, it's just very understated. It's very on the bottom. It's very just kind of where the tone kind of just needs to lift and sit. But yeah, I'm exactly the same with you guys because I mean, it just is what it is when you're watching it. It doesn't change your perception of what's going on. It is welcome where it is needed, but it doesn't change your opinion or emotion on any of the scenes. You've still got to make your own mind up.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's really good. To me, it is a soundtrack in a way that it is just accompanying the film and accompanying the performances, but there's no chance of this taking anything away from the dialogue. The dialogue is always going to be priority over the music.
Of course.
Deutsch does that really, really well. It's very understated, but it's beautifully done. Not something I'm going to buy on vinyl because it's going to be like,
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I love these 30 seconds of these really big triumphant booms and then just these little subtle bits. Yeah, great. But yeah, it's one of them things. It just sits with the film. It doesn't exist outside the world of the film at all. It's just laminated into it.
It's great.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
There wasn't a lot of money allocated to the music in the film. It was considered a B picture at the time. So they drafted in Deutsch, who was an Englishman, strangely enough.
Wow.
Okay, right.
He'd previously worked on The Drive-By Night, that proto-noir that we talked about. And the angels wash their faces, unrelated to Angels with Dirty Faces, but named to capitalise on its success.
It's amazing.
Shameless that.
Yeah, it really is shameless. It was a Dead End Kids film starring Ronald Reagan as well.
Oh, wow.
The actor?
Vice
Hell's John F.
President.
Kennedy. Deutsch created an 8-note theme for the main title, which represented the pursuit of the Falcon. It was played in B flat as opposed to C to give it a darker tone. And orchestrator Arthur Lang had all violins tuned down a whole step to give the string section added weight and a real darkness. I think that brings to it.
It's the darkness you can feel in the music.
Yeah.
So solid work from Adolf Deutsch, who adds a sense of dark drama to the narrative with the occasional playful flourish.
Yeah. Okay, very occasional, yes.
Finally, another benchmark in the noir genre, deep shadows and unusual angles coming from cinematographer Arthur Edison. Westy, your thoughts on Edison's work here?
It's just really fantastic stuff. And the fact that they're breaking rules left, right and centre because they just want to tell this story. And this is the way it should be done. You know, cinematography is overthought. Camera movements are overthought. A lot of things are, overanalyzed. And this, you can analyze it, but it doesn't lend itself to be analyzed. It just is, and it exists. And you know exactly why that camera's moving. You know exactly why that frame's wide. You know exactly who you need to focus on. There's not a part of this that is pretentious in the cinematography whatsoever. No. It's an absolute necessary force for what it is. And Arthur Edison was massively inspired by German Expressionism, and that really comes across, especially in the lighting. You know, there's such hard lighting here, hard shadows, great silhouettes of Spade just like on the background, so you can see through the window, especially on the floor, like we've mentioned before.
Yeah.
You know, when Miles gets shot, that's great. It's just drenched in darkness and he rolls down the hill. You just see just enough. You know, there's just beautiful catchlights in the eyes. You don't know who's telling the truth. And a lot of that's down to the angles, you know, the low angle that we talked about, the ceiling sets. Just a pioneer of inventive necessity to tell a story in a really interesting way. It's snappy. It's technically perfect. If you look at the cinematography and the way that it cuts, it shouldn't work. He's breaking the 180-degree rule. He's breaking the line. He's all over the place. The room doesn't make any sense. You're so disorientated by what's going on. But again, Edison and Huston are looking at each other from across the set going, yeah, that works. There's a complete trust here. It's a real partnership and a real trust in the writing and then visualizing that writing. This is a visualization of that script. And it's just a wonderful piece of work. He did so many films. One of the founders of the American Society of Cinematographers. He was so highly regarded. But I would imagine if you sat down and talked to him, he would have been very, very humble about it.
Yes.
Just wanted to make this film and wanted to tell this story. And he does it in such a beautiful way.
Yeah, incredible. I think his work, like most people's work here, can't be understated. He basically shot the blueprint for what one of the most revered movie genres would look like for decades to come. And this kind of comment keeps on coming up, but it has to, because we're talking about a film like this, a real touchstone in cinema history. Everything we associate with the visual language of noir, low-key lighting, long shadows, the interplay between light and dark. He's essentially writing the handbook.
Yeah.
Look at the way he shoots Gutman's hotel room. Those blinds, shadows, cutting across the walls and the characters' faces. That image has become synonymous with noir, that it's almost a cliche. But it starts
massively.
here.
Yeah, it does.
Or the way he frames Spade in his office at night, his face half illuminated, the other half swallowed by the shadows. It's just visual shorthand for ambiguity. That these characters who exist in grey areas, and Edison, he literally puts that there on screen. Visual storytelling. There's also his use of low angles. We've talked about that to make certain characters feel more imposing, more threatening. When Gutman's holding court, that camera's looking up at him and he's just got almighty power and menace.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned the deep focus work as well, Westy.
It's unbelievable, yeah.
Yeah, foreground, middle, background, they're all in sharp focus. Gives us such density to the film.
Yeah, I mean, he's invented 3D cinema, basically. Because of that depth in that frame. When Sam's at Bridget's apartment and goes to kiss her, but then looks out the window and there's that push to the kid in the doorway. It's like, how much more can you fit into this world? How deep does the rabbit hole go? Having 5-6 people in the frame, but having them so you see everyone and everyone has a place.
Yes.
Pause any of them compositions and they're fucking perfect. They're just album covers. They're just so well done.
Yeah, very much. Reminiscent for me of the "This Is It" scene from Blue Velvet when they're all in the shot.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
I know what you mean.
Reminds me very much of that.
Yep.
Matt, your thoughts on Arthur Edison's work?
I mean, everything you two have said, but the only thing I think I'll add is there's so much great blocking in this, which I think compensates for the challenge he has, which is it's, as we've been saying, such a talky film. It could be quite static. The conversations, though, they're never dull to look at. Sometimes it's because you do have the actors doing a bit of business, you know, Sam rolling a cigarette, Cairo and his business with his cane, but often it's because Huston and Edison, they have the characters moving within the frame. They sat down, then they're at the seats, they're pouring a drink, they back down, they're moving across the other side of the room to continue the conversation. Someone else pipes up. All very simple stuff, but it's still got to be done well. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very dry and static film to watch.
Yeah, it's that first meeting that Sam has with the cops when they come into his apartment, and they're either side of the frame, and he's sat with his back to the camera. Then he moves through the frame in between them, gets the drink, moves back.
Exactly.
And the camera's just backwards and forwards, and it's just everything's framed within that. Yeah, it's so beautifully done.
It is. Huston himself was initially dismissive of the role a cinematographer plays in making a film. He wrote that he was of the impression that they were nice fellows who concentrated their efforts on turning out pretty compositions.
Yeah.
And this was while he was a screenwriter, but his view changed when he sat in the director's chair for the first time. He said, "Practical experience very quickly forced me to revise my ideas and convince me that the industry cinematographers are, as a class, perhaps the most invaluable and yet generally underrated men in Hollywood."
Specifically, he often wondered why there were so many changes to his scripts in the finished article. He later surmised, "I simply didn't know how to write for the camera. I try to put it into words, things which could more easily be told in pictured action.
Yeah. Visual language. He didn't understand it.
Didn't have a clue. Until Edison was like, well, what about this?
Yes. Edison had been working in movies since the mid-10s, the silent era, and had shot All Quiet on the Western Front and the classic Universal monster movies like Invisible Man and Frankenstein.
Yeah. And before filming started, Huston and Edison studied the script, agreeing on the mood, lighting, and general visuals. This is another reason why Huston was able to be so economical during production. Everything was just planned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edison was one of the first DPs to employ Greg Toland's highly influential cinematographer style from Citizen Kane, which came out a month before filming on Falcon began.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
Great time.
You can tell there's a lot of influence here, definitely. He used his own 21mm wide-angle lens as opposed to the standard 24. He had a keen eye for depth of the frame and used low-key lighting at extreme angles to cast deep shadows. I know 21mm and 24 doesn't sound massively different, but it really fucking is.
Yeah.
Right.
So often going underappreciated, sometime by a film's director, the people behind the camera proved to be just as important as the people in front of it.
Oh, absolutely. If not more so.
The end.
After Sam's meeting with the DA, he's lured back to visit Gutman, but any more of his tough talk, and they'll be picking iron out of his liver. Great line.
Patter.
Yeah.
This second scene with Gutman is almost unbelievable. First off, Sam takes advantage of Wilmer's naivety. He gives him the old Sean Connery, the coat over the shoulders, and takes his gun.
Love that one.
Amazing. Yeah.
More great dialogue. This will put you in salad with your boss. Love it.
Yeah.
And when we're in the apartment, Gutman lays down the most astounding thing that Spade's ever heard, apparently. And there are a load of standouts here. Gutman unravelling this deliciously complex tale, passed down through the centuries and no doubt turned into lore and myth. It's such a strikingly rich story that I'm just completely on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Greenstreet's performance here, talking about the Falcon, talking about its history, leaning in, engulfing the whole frame and whispering the finer details of the tale as if the walls are listening.
Yeah.
The story is so evocative, and it absolutely has to be, because it's got to be enticing enough to blindside Sam Spade so that he doesn't know that his drink has been laced.
Yeah.
A man of his wiles would surely know if his drink was off, unless he tumbles into a fantasy land of a bejeweled statue, which he has done with Gutman.
Yes.
Who knows if any of this is true, but Gutman has to get Spade out of the picture so that he can catch up with Bridget and retrieve the bird without any interference from somebody who is his match, which Spade absolutely is.
Yeah.
This is something that we'll not find out until a tossed off comment in about 20 minutes time. And if you don't catch up with it,
Hard cheese. He's not part of the plan.
No, he's not part of the plan. He's expendable.
Yes.
And, you know, this is just dialogue that'll have you on the end of your seat and performance to match. It's stunning stuff.
Yeah. If you look up this scene, you'll find tales of an incredible, unbroken 7-minute take as Wilma and Sam come down the hallway into Gutman's hotel suite, and then the two have a few drinks and talk about the origin and value of the Falcon. I think this originated from a passage by the script supervisor describing the setup.
Yeah, I don't know whether this is just kind of like a tale gone wrong, much like the tale of the Falcon itself.
Yeah, so in script supervisor Meta Wild's words, the camera followed Greenstreet and Bogart from one room into another, then down a long hallway and finally into a living room. There the camera moved up and down, then panned from left to right and back to Bogart's drunken face. The next pan shot was to Greenstreet's massive stomach from Bogart's point of view. One miss and we had to begin all over again.
Yeah, I mean, even from the start of that quote, the camera followed Greenstreet and Bogart from one room into another, then down a long hallway. Well, that's inaccurate because it's Bogey and Alicia Cook before Greenstreet shows up. So it's all very strange. But it is an incredible scene nonetheless, and thankfully there wasn't a miss. We mentioned how meticulous Huston was in his planning. Probably the greatest example of this is during this scene. It was rehearsed for 2 days straight, and because everybody knew the scene so well, it was nailed in one take.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the whole day was allocated to the shooting of that one particular scene. Production was finished for the day, with the remainder being spent at the golf club.
Of course it was.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lovely. Not like, oh, we can get ahead of schedule here.
Yeah.
No, retire.
Right.
Yeah, cocktails.
Okay.
Yep.
So the word around the campfire is that this is a 7-minute oneer.
Yes.
If there was a 7-minute oneer take in the Maltese Falcon, that's what it would be famous for.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be. Yeah.
100%. That's longer than the walk in Goodfellas.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But an incredible scene nonetheless with scintillating dialogue.
Yes, it's an amazing scene. Yeah.
It is.
from one amazing scene to another. I mean, we're back and we've got Sam in the office, and then he's talking to Effie. We don't quite know what's going on. We're in a little bit of a lull here. We're in a little bit of a breather for about a minute and a half. Door opens, some guy stumbles in with a package. He's been shot, right? Who the fuck's this guy?
Who's this?
Sam wakes up, we'll backtrack a little bit. He wakes up and he happens to find the newspaper that's circled with the ships coming in.
That's handy. Yeah.
That's really handy. Yeah. And then turns up the ship's on fire. He's worried about someone about no, everyone got off fine. That's great. No problem. Comes back and he's like shaking his head thinking, well, the ship was on fire. What the fuck's going on? Effie's there with him. Then this guy stumbles in. Sam's like, all right, sits him down, looks through his credentials while Effie's out the room. She comes back in. He knows who he is, but he doesn't say to her straight away who he is. So keeps her on the back foot. Great. But that scream in the background, that is such a femme fatale, like noir scream. It's like the Wilhelm scream of the noir genre. It's like used over and over again. It's so recognizable. Wonderful. Absolutely love that. But what a bang moment. This guy stumbling in. And the dialogue here couldn't have come that far with all them holes in them. Love that.
Yeah.
That's really brilliant. And then Effie's just not taking it well enough. Don't pass out on us. What's the matter with you? There's a dead body in the room.
Yeah, who is this person?
He's just shaking her. Like, don't be so stupid, right? Don't pass out on me now. But we are thinking, well, who is this guy? And then they pick up the package, open it, and he's like, we got it, Angel. And he's grabbing her so hard. She's like, that hurts. It's not that important. What are you doing? We got it, Angel. Beautiful. Right, okay. Then there's a phone call. There's O'Shaughnessy. She's in trouble. Right, call the police. But it happened exactly the way it happened. But there was no package.
Don't mention the bundle.
And don't mention the bundle. And I took the call. You didn't. That's exactly what and then that's who it is. And who is this guy? Oh, yeah, that's Captain Jacoby. Okay, yeah, great. You just crack on with that. And then he's just out of there. Amazing. Just leaves her with a dead body waiting for the police to turn up. I tell you what, Effie is a fucking angel. Like, not in a derogatory way. She is just, what a wonderful human being to stick with him through all this. Then she fucking delivers it in the final scene, which we'll talk about later on.
It may be 6 a.m., but here's your bundle.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, PDQ, which I would imagine is pretty damn quick. So she's just up and out of there. But that's that's the scene that's coming up. But it's hard to talk about PDQ, and we don't get a chance to breathe. Now from here, we think we're going to get some answers. He's got it. He's found it. Here we go. Let's get into the ending, and it just assaults you from here on in.
It really does. Yeah, the bundle itself, the Great Maltese Falcon, was inspired by the Nipphausen Hawk, which was a pouring vessel made in 1697 for George William von Nipphausen, who was Count of the Holy Roman Empire.
Oh, right. That guy.
You know him well, I imagine, Westy.
Yeah, Nipphausen, yeah.
The big nip.
The big nippy old boy.
And there were a number of different Falcon props created for the film, all based on artist Fred Sexton's design. There has been some conflicting information about this, but the general consensus is that most of the props, around 6 of them, were made of plastic resin and as a result were very light. There were also 2 made of lead. They weighed around 45 pounds compared to the 5 pound resin ones.
Yeah, really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
The prop department spent under $700 designing and manufacturing the different blackbirds. One of the lead props was dropped on Bogey's foot during production by Lee Patrick, who plays Effie, and as a result, the tail feathers were dented. Nothing about Bogey's foot, obviously just bounced off it because he's just made of solid rock.
Solid.
Just solid man.
Yeah, have a look again at the bird when Sam carries it out of his apartment at the end. You'll see the damage.
Right.
All right.
It is this that is the only official prop out there, as confirmed by Warner Brothers Archives. It resurfaced in the 80s in the hands of a Beverly Hills surgeon, and it was most recently put up for auction in 2013 when it was expected to go for around $1 million. But there was a bidding war with Vegas casino owner Steve Wynn ultimately paying $4.1 million for it.
Wow.
$4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Incredible. There's a really compelling Vanity Fair article that paints an alternate history of the many Falcon props and the validity of the one that Steve Wynn bought. It involves eccentric collectors, the Black Dahlia, and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's as twisty and turny as the film itself. It's an incredible read.
Oh, okay.
Oh, check that out, yeah.
Check it out.
The captain of La Paloma, the burning ship, is Captain Jacoby, He finally delivers the Falcon into the narrative, as we've just discussed. Jacoby was played by John Huston's father, Walter Huston, uncredited for his work. For a laugh, Walter kept on fumbling his entrance, meaning John had to do a number of takes for his scene. Dad, man!
It's my debut film, for Christ's sake.
Such dad behaviour, that, like, isn't it?
Yeah, classic.
So typical. Yeah, classic dad.
He brings a bundle in. What's that? Just fish and chips.
Yeah.
John later got his own back on his dad. He got Mary Astor to impersonate producer Hal Wallace's secretary and called Walter Huston to explain that Hal thought he'd overacted in his scene.
Amazing.
He was enraged. He'd never been accused of such a thing in his career, but he did agree to come down to the lot to do reshoots the next day. John Huston took over the phone off Astor and impersonated Wallace himself, reiterating his point about his overacting, and this made Walter blow up even further, with him allegedly saying, "You tell my son to get another actor or go to hell." It was only after John Huston couldn't contain his laughter that the penny dropped for his dad.
Wow.
Great story.
Yeah, great relationship that though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Love that.
And then things are starting to finally come to a head, and things are finally starting to kind of unravel a bit, and points are being underscored. And there's got to be a fall guy to take the blame for all of this. And weirdly, I do feel a bit sorry for Wilmer because, yes, he's been an absolute arsehole throughout the film.
Murdering.
Yeah. But, apart from that, he's a sound guy. But he's that type of person. He's desperately trying to prove himself and prove he belongs in this tough world of men being men's men, and he just has no place in it. As we said, Sam gets the drop on him so easily earlier on.
Yeah.
And now you get this scene, and it's the pacing of this. I mean, Cairo's there, he pulls his gun. Obviously, the suggestion, well, maybe we'll put Cairo up as the fall guy. We need to have one. It's double cross upon double cross upon double cross. And when Sam says, no, it should be Wilmer, again, for Gutman, this is just a game to him. I mean, Wilmer is someone who's worked pretty faithfully for him. And Gutman just thinks it's hilarious. Oh, what do you think of this, Wilmer? It's mighty funny, eh? Mighty funny. Just everything has been ranged against him because loyalty means nothing to anyone in this room. And as soon as Gutman is convinced Spade can fit Wilmer up without any comeback and the DA will be happy, there'll be no questions, Wilmer's doomed. And the grin on Sam's face, like 6-2 and even, they're selling you out, Sonny, when they're just discussing it amongst themselves.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So like I say, I do feel slightly sorry for him because he can't keep up with what's going on. And everyone in this room is just 5 steps ahead of him and he's got no chance of getting out.
Yeah, when he's got tears in his eyes when he confronts Sam. That's really, really, really powerful moment.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole stretch with all 5 principals together in one room accounts for around 25% of the entire runtime and took a full week to shoot.
Wow.
3 days of which were allocated to the closing dialogue between Sam and Bridget.
And it's compelling 25% in one room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not happening today.
No.
No, well, no.
Absolutely not.
So it's a Mexican standoff with Wilmer taking the fall, but there's bound to be a few more twists before the resolution.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
The plot thickens even further as Bridget's part in proceedings become untangled before the Falcon gets delivered with devastating results.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting off with, just after Wilmer has been pinned as the fall guy, Spade still has a load of questions. He may be smart as a whip, but he's always playing catch-up.
Yeah.
He's got to know exactly what happened so that the parts that don't fit can be covered up. And Gutman lays down yet another incredibly complex story, and the extent of Miss O'Shaughnessy's involvement is laid out. At this point, I don't even think that the characters know what is true and what's a lie.
No.
So his account is that Bridget gave the bird to Jacoby to deliver to her later, and once Gutman had found this out, he decided to slip Spade a Mickey and infiltrate the meeting between the two to get his greasy fingers on the bird.
Yes.
Layer of details, layers of characters, lies, deceits. You'd be forgiven for not understanding 90% of anything from here on out.
Yeah, fair point.
It's the kind of narrative that just demands repeat viewings. Because try and getting all this in your first watch, forget about it.
No, yeah.
And after this yarn, Wilmer comes to and realises that he's been stabbed in the back. The dramatic individual shots of everybody bearing down on him are a little bit heavy-handed, but I'll put that down to the time it was made 85 years ago.
Yeah, with the score as well.
Yeah. And it is also made up by some gloriously diabolical dialogue from Gutman, who says, I want you to know I couldn't be fonder of you if you were my own son, but if you lose a son, it's possible to get another. There's only one Maltese Falcon.
Yeah, amazing.
Great line, that.
Come on. Who wrote that?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Houston secretary, by the way.
And finally, another huge swing in who we're inclined to believe here and who we're inclined to think is a liar. Bridget hands over the 10,000. Gutman says business should be transacted in a business-like manner. There are only 9 bills. There were originally 10, as you knew.
Yeah.
She must have palmed the 1,000, but no, it turns out that it's Gutman who did it. So whatever he's just told us in the last 10 minutes, probably all lies.
Yeah.
Yes. Garbage.
Gutman even warns Sam to be careful of Miss O'Shaughnessy after he's been caught in a lie.
Yeah, exactly.
The nerve.
Yeah.
I know.
And that $1,000 bill that Gutman pockets and tries to pin on Bridget was actually a Mexican 10 peso note. And it was commonplace to use pesos at the time due to the restrictions on how US currency could be displayed on film.
Yeah.
Scans on screen, it looks great.
Oh, yeah.
And $1,000 bill is quite flashy.
Yes.
It is.
A little bit.
I mean, now it would be incredibly flashy, but 80 odd years ago.
Yeah. It just shows the kind of character Gutman is, though, doesn't it?
does, yeah.
It really works for that character.
And then finally, we get to see the Falcon. As we said, Effie delivering it 6 in the morning.
Here we
That's
go.
fine. No bother for her.
No worries.
She works 24 hours a day. That's absolutely fine. you do look at it and you go, is that it? Is that what this whole thing is being about? But obviously, it's not even the real one. And it's just the most glorious, ironic twist I think a film has ever had, because all the knots that Bridget and Cairo and Gutman have been twisting themselves into to get hold of it, the people that have died because of it, the situation Sam has had to get himself out of because of it, and it's just worthless junk. And the whole thing is just an absolute lesson on the foolishness of greed. Everyone chasing after this and it means nothing. And it's the one time you see Gutman lose his cool, like his big meaty hands ripping through the packaging to get hold of it. The sweat on his brow, hacking away with a penknife when he realizes it's fake. It's great to see him out of control here and Sam just, back in control of this situation. But it's Cairo for me because his reaction is so funny.
Yeah. No one ever got it so easily.
You imbecile! You bloated idiot! You stupid fat-headed... And then he just cries in that chair like a little kid.
Yeah, just sauces down.
Yeah.
Stupid fathead.
Stupid fathead.
No wonder we
Great
could steal
stuff.
it so easily. I love that line as well.
Yeah.
It's like, we got away with it. So, was this easy? Was this all supposed to be easy? Gutman would have absolutely fucking loved it if it was chocolate, wouldn't he? The Maltese Falcon.
That's wonderful.
Scratching away with it. It's like a fucking Easter egg. I'd love that.
There's a market for that, Westy. I'm telling you. The Maltese
know, right?
Falcon. That's wonderful. Well done.
But the thing about Gutman, though, it's what I've been saying all along, it's just a game for him. Like, he gets over that disappointment very quickly.
Very quickly.
He does, yeah. Right, what's next?
Yeah, well, that's it. Shall we call each other names or shall we go to Istanbul? Like, it's just, that's fine. We'll go there instead.
And then want Sam to go with him. Are you going to come with her? Or?
Definitely
no,
not.
fine. Cheers, thank
I
you.
wouldn't have thought so. You'd been lying your arse off for the last 3 days.
Yeah, because the ending of this pursuit is so ironic because it's all been meaningless. No one's achieved anything, and yet somehow it's still completely satifying.
It
Yeah,
really
exactly.
is.
I think Gutman is obsessed with the pursuit, not the result.
The pursuit.
Yeah.
I think
It's
he
the
wouldn't have been happy if that was real.
No, exactly. He's
You'd
like
have to move
17
on to the
years.
next thing.
It's keeping him alive. It's keeping him focused.
It's great. And because we're at this moment in the narrative, we've got our final Patreon question. This one comes from an old friend of ATRM. This is Just Joe. Hi, Joe.
Oh,
Hi, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Great to hear from you.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Joe says, love that you're covering this film. She says, the Maltese Falcon is often cited as a classic MacGuffin. If you were making your own film, what would your MacGuffin of choice be and why? Thanks. And she's even left a little kiss, which is nice.
Most welcome.
A great question, Joe. Thank you. For those who don't know, I don't want to be preaching to the converted here, but a MacGuffin is essentially the thing that everyone is chasing that drives the plot.
Yes.
What it actually is doesn't really matter usually.
No.
Yeah.
Hitchcock popularized the term. The Maltese Falcon is perfect because it turns out to be fake anyway. It's worthless, but everyone's killed and double-crossed each other to get to it, which is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I were making my own film, I think I'd go with kind of like a lost recording, maybe the only existing tape of a musician or an unreleased album or something like that.
Yeah.
something where the myth around it has grown so large that people have convinced themselves that it's priceless, even though it might be terrible. So, with that in mind, I'm going to go with a Bob Dylan recording.
Okay.
Thought you might.
He's the master at creating his own legend and myth, and his own lost recordings have been pursued and poured over 4 decades, much like the Falcon itself. He also has it in his locker to put out a stinker or two, and I think he would be laughing in his grave at the idea of this eternal pursuit for something that was deliberately crap.
Yeah. I think it would be good, like from a Dylan point of view, when everyone went crazy when he went electric.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's a CDR out there of Dylan goes hip hop.
Now that's crazy.
Someone's going to kill for that. Then we don't know if it plays on it. It just doesn't play at the end. It's been scratched too much. So we'll never know.
Yeah, great. That's mine. What about yours, Matt?
I'm going to mention the idol from the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark, because that kickstarts this incredible character we follow through numerous adventures and we never see it again. And I've always wondered what did happen to it. I mean, presumably Belloc sold it to somebody, but who? And I'd have quite liked a little Easter egg scene somewhere along the way when Indy finally gets his hands on it. And I think you could then make quite a meta film where some die-hard film fan wants to find the original idol. You know, where has that gone to? So I think you could spin off and do like a real kind of meta comedy about it. So that's what I would do.
Nice.
Excellent. And Westy, over to you.
Some kind of microfilm. I love the idea of microfilm.
You do, don't you? You love a microfilm.
Yeah, like North by Northwest microfilm. But then I would kind of spin it, kind of similar to yours, Luke. I love that idea of something that's just a piece of forgotten media, because I just found some CDs under my stairs when I've been tidying stuff up, putting stuff away. And there's like all the old CDs, and some of them don't play and some of them do. And it's like, what was on that? I can't remember.
Yeah, great.
But I would love something just far enough away where there's something on it, but we don't quite know what it is. So there could be like any kind of government files or any kind of like a recording between 2 people that we don't quite know what it is. And this is the actual thing, but it's a mini disc.
Oh, lovely. Love mini discs.
And like nobody's got a mini disc player.
No.
Yeah. You don't know how to play it. It's just like, it's no other way of doing it. So the MacGuffin is actually the player, not the mini disc itself.
Right.
That's great. And that's a great question, Joe. Thank you very much. Let us know what your MacGuffin would be.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Okay. Here we go.
Here we
Bringing
go.
it home.
Don't let us down here, Westy.
Yeah.
Sam's going to explain it all. I'm going to do this rat-a-tat straight down there. Okay, so you find out you killed Miles with Thursby's gun. Thursby was in love with her, so she played him. She was going to play Miles, shot him to set up Thursby, was going to go after it, but he didn't actually go after him, so that was the whole point of that. So then when Thursby was shot, Gutman was in town. So she kind of freaked out about that. She needed a bit of a patsy, needed a bit of a fall guy, so she got Sam involved. That is to be her undoing.
Right.
Because this is the man who knows what the fucking crack is.
Glad somebody does.
Exactly. And I think the whole point is it's more about Bridget's character than it is about the Falcon. It's about stopping her from doing what she's doing, because she's just corrupting every single person that she meets and she's on a path of self-destruction. And what Sam does is the ultimate act of love and stops her from doing it. It's because it's self-destructive. And he says, it doesn't matter what this is or what dreams are made of, it's the dreams themselves. And you've got to wake up to reality, because dreams don't exist. You've got to be part of the real world. And you've actually got to stop playing these games, because it's going to hurt you and it's going to end up killing you. And it's the way that he does it. And he's got a dedication in his own way of doing it. This is a really beautiful ending. It's probably one of the most romantic endings to any film ever. Because in his own way, he declares his undying love for her. In ways that you would think is really throwaway and quite harsh and hard. I hope, in 20 years, you'll come back and I'll still be waiting for you.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing to say to someone. And he has the solid reasoning of, I don't trust you, you don't trust me. This relationship will never work because the foundations aren't right. You're not in the right place. You're not the person that I believe you can be. And you've got to go away and find that person. Even if that takes 20 years, I'll be here when you are the person I know you can be. It's not about the Falcon. It's about them two finding each other and being better people, ultimately paying the price to do that. And he says things like, I hope they don't hang you with that beautiful neck. It's a horrible thing to say.
Yes, Angel, I'm going to send you over.
Yeah, I'm going to send you over. But it's just, I won't play the sap for you. It's a solid reasoning that he's given. It's just, he's not going to give it a go. And like Matt says, I'm going to have some rotten nights, but that'll pass.
Yeah.
Because I think he knows who she is and who she can be. And he knows that she'll probably get out of there quicker because she will remember that. And then he says, if they hang you, I'll always remember you. That's a beautiful thing, but so cynical and wrapped in this horrible kind of downbeat moment. But at the same time, that's the best he's got.
Yeah.
That's the best that Sam Spade's got. So the real reason that all of this comes to the head and all of this comes to the point of realization is that being a human being and having relationships is about honesty. It's about truth. It's about openness, and it's about being disappointed and how you get through them disappointments. There isn't a dream. There's nothing to find to take all of the pain away. Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says different is selling something.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of this film. And I think that absolutely hits it home. And the more you watch it, the more you realize that that's what it's about. Don't be corrupt. Don't try and find an easy way out in life, because it doesn't happen. You've got to work. You've got to be honest, and you've got to be a good person. And if you do that, you've already got the Falcon.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Lovely. Excellent. What a way to end it. Just like Sam, the stuff that dreams are made of. That line is a riff on a line from Shakespeare's The Tempest.
Yeah.
We are such stuff as dreams are made on.
Tempest.
Yes.
An unusually bleak ending for the time as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
The stuff that dreams are made of, in certain respects, certainly.
Yeah, definitely.
Reception and awards.
Due to Huston's meticulous plan and approach, editor Thomas Richards' job required minimal cuts and the removal of only one scene that was shot, a telephone conversation. The Hollywood Reporter praised Richards' splendid editing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was this swiftness that allowed for an October release after filming wrapped on 18th of July. Jack Warner did request reshoots after test audiences, funnily enough, found the opening scene too confusing.
Yeah, so we got a simpler version.
God.
Wow. Yeah.
Or could it be more complex?
Arthur Edison wasn't available as DP, so Ernest Haller stood in for him. Haller had shot Gone with the Wind in 1939 and would later shoot Rebel Without a Cause 14 years later.
Yeah. Big boots to fill, but they got the right man.
Yeah.
Not much was expected, but the Maltese Falcon was a huge hit at the box office. On a budget of around $375,000, it returned just over $1.8 million. Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge at the
At
time.
the time.
Yeah.
And the reviews at the time hit the spot also, didn't they, Westy?
The date Otis Ferguson of the New Republic called it the first crime melodrama with finish, speed, and bang to come along in what seems like ages.
Yeah, agreed, Otis.
Yeah.
And the film Daily said John Huston's direction of his own screenplay is as brilliant as any of the jewels which are alleged to encrust the Falcon, whose possession is the crux of the story.
Poetic. Bosley Crowther, we talked about him in his scathing attack of the second adaptation of the Maltese Falcon. Writing in the New York Times, he said, one of the most compelling, nervous laughter provokers yet. Yet, I assume it means in the history of cinema up to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah.
Our big man Roger Ebert obviously wasn't around at the time to review it on release, but later included it on his great movies list and gave it obviously 4 out of 4.
Of course he did. Yeah.
Now it has 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb, and on Rotten Tomatoes 99% from critics and 91% from audiences. At the 14th Academy Awards, the film was nominated in 3 categories: Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Supporting Actor. Sidney Greenstreet.
Yes, but it lost out to How Green Is My Valley for Best Picture. That film also won Supporting Actor for Donald Crisp, and Here Comes Mr. Jordan won for Adapted Screenplay instead.
Right.
Yes, Here Comes Mr. Jordan. That's a film which would later be remade as Heaven Can Wait in 1978 with Warren Beatty.
Right.
Yeah,
Beatty,
that's
yeah.
right, Beatty one.
Right,
Yeah.
good, nice. But it has received a long list of accolades since its release. It was one of the first 25 films inducted into the National Film Registry in 1989 by the Library of Congress.
Yes, and a load of accolades. According to the AFI, it is number 31 in their 100 Years, 100 Movies list, 26 in their 100 Years, 100 Thrills list, 6th in the AFI's top 10 mystery films, and 14th in the 100 movie quotes list, the stuff that dreams are made of.
Right,
Amazing.
right. I would put that slap quote in there, 13th.
Yeah.
Top for me.
Top for you, number
When
one.
you'll slap, you'll take it and like it.
Yeah.
So success on all fronts for a film that continuously gets showered with accolades, a true one-off.
Oh, absolutely.
Sequels and influence.
Considering the popularity of the Maltese Falcon, Warners were interested in greenlighting a sequel immediately.
Yeah.
The first suggestion was The Further Adventures of the Maltese Falcon. Tune that up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have had Huston in the hot seat. Warner's approached Dashiell Hammett to write the screenplay, but he asked for a $5,000 advance. And that combined with Huston and Bogey's salary demands were too rich for Warner's tastes, so they backed out.
Fair enough. Right. And the second sequel option was called Three Strangers, and this was a Huston script he'd written in 1936, which was then bought by Warner's. And the proposal was to repurpose this as a Falcon sequel, but Hammett kindly reminded Warner's that he held the rights to the characters, so that was a no-go.
Mm-hmm.
Three Strangers did eventually get made in 1946 with no reference to Falcon. It starred Sidney Greenstreet and Peter Lorre and was shot by Arthur Edison with music from Adolf Dutch. So the crew's back together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get the band back together. Lovely.
Yeah.
So we didn't get a sequel, but the main cast did get back together again in 1943 to voice their characters in a 30-minute CBS radio adaptation of the Maltese Falcon.
Right. Yeah.
Bogart, Astor, Greenstreet and Lorre were all on board. It's certainly worth listening to. It's only 30 minutes and, they take some liberties in the narrative, obviously.
You don't have to condense this to 30 minutes. Oh, my God.
How fast the dialogue on that?
It's just a film on times 4 speed.
It is, yeah.
So in the years since its release, where have we seen the Maltese Falcon's influence? What is its legacy? Westy, open the floodgates.
Yeah, I'm not going to stay too long on this because I could be here all afternoon. So it's the birth of noir. There's not really an argument against it. There's a few niggles against it, but you cannot deny its impact. You cannot deny its influence. And you cannot deny that, this has kind of paved the way, hasn't it? Of course it has. There's so many elements in this that have just been taken from people. It's just such an inspirational film. I think because of the energy that's involved in it, you want to be part of this. You want to just take this further. You want it to continue. So many of my favorite films that I've watched this again and I'm thinking, I've mentioned Raiders. It's a massive influence on Lucas. It's a massive influence on Spielberg. Just even the look of Sam Spade when he's in the hotel, you just think, well, that's Indy's kind of dressed down outfit when he's not, the whip's not there. It's his, school teacher outfit. Looks very much like Bogart. But then it's just the more obvious ones. I mean, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that's massively influenced by it and then spun on a little bit. It pokes fun at it, but at the same time really appreciates the genre. I don't think Blade Runner would be anywhere near as good if it wasn't for this film.
I agree.
I think Brick as well takes a lot from this, Rian Johnson's early effort. I think that's a really, really good detective film. Yes. Comes a lot from this. The Coens wouldn't have been able to start the career without Blood Simple, and I think that's got a lot to do with this. And again, Mulholland Drive, big influence on Lynch, big influence on cinema as we see it today. I mean, you cannot turn around and say, I don't like the Maltese Falcon because everything that's come from it, it's just, its fingerprints are on everything. It's such an important film. And the one that it caps it all off, I mean, this is literally Chinatown on a fast forward.
It is.
Yeah. And that's what you get. John Huston's in that as well, which is a massive nod to it. And it's an incredible film. So, if it wasn't for this, you wouldn't have half of the dialogue heavy films that we have now and that we really love and appreciate. So I would go as far as to say if it wasn't for the Maltese Falcon, you probably wouldn't be listening to this podcast.
Wow.
Absolutely. Very strong. Yeah, I agree. It made Bogey a genuine star, which later turned into a screen icon.
Yeah.
John Huston is saying, making him one of the most revered filmmakers ever. Without this film, there's no Casablanca, no Treasure of Sierra Madre, no African Queen, no Double Indemnity, no Chinatown, no Blade Runner, no Big Lebowski.
Yeah. No Universal Soldier. None of them.
No Universal Soldier.
I can't believe I bought that at the same time. What was I thinking? That's crazy.
It pulled together some elements that were already there in cinema, invented a fair few of its own, and boiled it down into one of the most beloved of movie genres. I'd go so far as to say that if this film doesn't get made, the ripple effect on the industry would be enormous, and it would look incredibly different.
Yeah, so much more,
I could go on, but I'm not going to, so I'll hand over to you, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very similar to me. It's the fact that it filters down into films you wouldn't think of at first, but then you go, actually, there's so much of this is in Raiders.
Yeah.
Greenstreet is definitely a proto-Bond villain before Bond existed.
All three of them are,
Yeah. You used to mention two Coen Brothers films there, Blood Simple and Big Lebowski. I'd say Miller's Crossing takes a lot from this. The dialogue in that one, the double crossing, how that film looks. And just really, really random ones when you think about, like, remember that cartoon, Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ren is basically Peter Lorre. It's the Peter Lorre voice, same voice.
Yeah,
and obviously Lorre did a lot of films, but this is the one that, as we've been saying, put him back on the map. And I think everything from Laurie's kind of second career that didn't come from Airman, his kind of German films, comes from the Maltese Falcon. So it really is incredible just how this is filtered down into so many different things in different ways.
Yeah, it is. And a couple of other specifics as well. To prepare for her part in Casablanca, Ingrid Bergman studied Bogey in the Maltese Falcon. Allegedly, she watched it multiple times so that she knew how to interact with him on set.
Yeah.
And in an early draft of Robert Towne's Chinatown screenplay, the character of J.J. Gitter says, in my case, being respectable would be bad for business. And this is very similar to Spade's line in this film. Don't be too sure I'm as crooked as I'm supposed to be. That sort of reputation might be good business.
Mm-hmm. Town later said, it doesn't show up in the shooting script of Chinatown, so I obviously removed it. I guess it was an unconscious echo that I didn't feel was right for Gitters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's there. He's just drawing from the history of film noir, which all leads back to this.
Yeah.
It's ebbing out of his subconscious when he's even writing it, and he's like, actually, no, that's not right for that
Exactly,
character.
it's just in his subconscious.
It's cinematic inception. It just lays the
It
idea
really
in your
is.
head.
Yeah, that's level 4.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So surprisingly, no sequel to The Maltese Falcon, not for the want of trying, for a film whose influence and legacy is pretty much immeasurable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the right movies ranking.
Now we've got all concerned parties in one room. It's time to give our summary and score for The Maltese Falcon. Matt, over to you first.
This is going to be 25% of the podcast.
Great film. It defines the genre, it defined the image of Humphrey Bogart, which really did kick his career up to another level, defines the idea of what a femme fatale could be. And for this amount of sizzling dialogue, complicated plot, and phenomenal supporting performances and characters like Cairo, like Gubbin, all to be stirred together in the same plot in a debut film, it is quite the achievement.
Yes.
Only possible thing I can say against it is it's just never been on the level of being a personal favourite of mine.
Yeah, I know what you
In
mean.
terms of the genre, I'll always go for Double Indemnity over this first. In terms of Bogart performances, I'll always go to Casablanca first over this.
Okay.
They are the ones that I would give the very, very top marks to. With this one, absolutely, it came first and it defined everything. Just for me, a couple of films that came after it maybe just achieved a little bit more in terms of personal preference. So this one is a 9.5 for me.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, controversial. I mean, high,
Oh,
but controversial
come on.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
It is controversial, yeah.
And Westy, what about you?
I mean, I said at the top that this one took me a long time to get into, and going over it for this, I did feel like it was less of an emotional film where I disappeared into it and forgot what was going on. It was more of reading a textbook, I think, at this point, because it's technically superb. The acting is superb, and I feel like I'm watching the acting. I'm not watching a character as a performance, if you know what I mean. I'm not like immersed in it, but I think that's a beautiful thing as well, because it is like watching a stage show. It is like watching a perfect theatre performance and being swept away in it. It's such an influential film, which makes it such an important film. I mean, this film itself influenced a wave of directors that we thought were the first directors of all time. You know, Spielberg, Kubrick, Coppola, De Palma, you know, Lucas. All those guys who kind of just came up and we thought, well, these guys invented film, and this goes back to Huston. He invented this and made this. It's just such an important step in the history of cinema. Once you've seen this film, you won't forget it for good or bad. There is other films that you'll go to on top of this. I probably won't watch this again for a good few years, but I don't need to, because it's baked in. And no matter what I write now, there might be elements of this in there, because it is such an incredible story and it's such an incredible achievement. I cannot give this any less than full marks, because it is such an influential, such a powerful and such a well-made film, and it's pure energy and it's pure cinema. It's a 10.
Kaboom.
Boom.
Very nice, Westy. Well done. Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
More honest. Yeah, we've talked at length about this film, so no surprise that it's going to be given the endless praise that we've been given it, and the same is going to be in this summary here. It is everything that I want in cinema and more. A great setting, even though it's on a set. A story, incredible. Dialogue that sizzles. Wonderful performances from every cast member, but Humphrey Bogart, this is for me in the top 10 acting performances ever. It's so magnetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need multiple viewings to get a handle on the twist and narrative, and when you do that, the film just gets under your skin and doesn't let go. Simply, it's one of the greatest films ever made, one of the most important, a landmark. It can be nothing other than a 10 on 10.
Fair enough.
Yes. Our fourth and final score for the Maltese Falcon comes from our Patreon community. Before the big reveal, here are some choice comments.
Okay.
James Ozzie Pugh said, for me, the Maltese Falcon is 10 out of 10 because it's the blueprint for everything great about film noir. razor-sharp dialogue, moral ambiguity, and characters who feel dangerous simply by talking.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Absolutely.
It's a really
Yes,
great point.
agreed.
Yeah.
I'll have some of that, James. Very nice. John Shively said, The Maltese Falcon is one of my favourite movies ever. It is the film that had me hooked on Humphrey Bogart and film noir. Cheers to you guys for analysing such an important film. Please keep up the great work.
We'll
That's
try.
very nice. Yeah.
Thank you, John. We certainly will.
Yes, I hope I've done it justice.
And finally, Shazza, she says, 8 for me. Oof.
Okay.
She says, Bogey is great, as is Green Street, but Mary Astor stinks up the screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Swap her out for Betty Davis. Even Lee Patrick was far better than Astor. Good story, but not tip-top in my world.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. So there you go. One or two controversial, well, one controversial view, really, but thank you for your honesty, Shazza.
Yes, absolutely.
So what do you say, boys? Out of 10 from the ATRM patrons?
I'm going to say 10.
9.
Westy, you got it. It's 10. The big 10. Inevitable, I suppose, meaning that the Maltese Falcon got an overall 39.5 out of 40. Just missing that
Amazing.
hallowed top spot.
Yeah.
Indeed.
That's on you, Matt, if you weren't sure.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, is
I
it?
think
Okay.
he's pretty sure about that.
Yeah. I'm sure I
figured
won't
that out.
hear the last of that.
Yeah.
Join us again in All the Right Movies in 2 weeks. John, Westy and Matt will be tackling another absolute Hollywood classic. They'll be in the war room for Dr. Strangelove.
We will be.
Yeah.
An incredible film.
Yeah.
If Luke hasn't killed Matt by
I am definitely worried about my precious bodily fluids. Put that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Before that, though, our studio head and director's chair patrons can hear us reviewing 6 new releases in the latest episode of the Watch List.
Yes.
That's next week. And we have an extra special treat next week as well. A brand new episode of A Life in Movies, our interview show. And this one's a big one.
It is a big
It
one.
is.
We're joined by Oscar-nominated, Golden Globe and Emmy winner, James Woods.
The one and only James Woods. Wow.
Amy Woods.
That's going to be really special, that one.
Yeah, he's stopping by to talk about some of his most iconic films and his career overall. A great conversation full of incredible stories.
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt it. Amazing.
Ooh. If you haven't done it already, please give us a positive rating wherever you listen to podcasts. That really helps us out, and it takes no time at all. So don't make a sap out of us. 5 stars all the way.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Please.
Yeah.
Please, please. And as ever, we're on social media around the clock. That's X, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, and TikTok. Our Making of Movie threads go up on X, and just like our podcast, they are microscopically researched, with all information coming from at least 3 sources or from the mouths of the cast and crew.
Indeed.
You can join our Facebook group for another wonderful movie community full of great chat. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/alltherightmovies, where you can also listen to all of our podcasts. And our website is alltherightmovies.com.
Nice.
Ooh, and that is a wrap, everyone. Now we're off to Istanbul in pursuit of the Blackbird. Do you want to come?
By God, sir. You're a character. By God.
We've been doing it for 17 years. Might as well crack on Istanbul. Let's go.
And as the shortest farewells are best, adieu. Come back for Dr. Strangelove in 2 weeks.
Goodbye.
Adieu. 2 year. And year. And year. And year. And year.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Really
Bye.
appreciate it. Bye.